That's 888-465-2631.
Good morning, everyone.
Meet with me, Brian Craig, and Steve Kane, and we will be hearing about you and your business on the longest-running radio show in Florida, The Steve Kane Show, 888-465-2631.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe. And everyone, please like the video. Click that notification bell. Man, do we got a lot to talk about today. I'm going to start talking about what's going on with the Freedom Convoy with not just Trudeau, but his entire government and what they have done. And, tell me what you guys think in the chat room. What have the Freedom Truckers, the Freedom Convoy in Canada, what have they done that has the powers that be in Canada, the leftist up there, treating them like this? It's insane to me.
That's 561-320-8893.
Here we go. It's showtime. I'm a little bit behind on my caffeine intake. So I gotta get this coffee down. I had coffee at home, and I was doing, my show prep, and I was reading and doing everything, and forgot to drink my coffee. So I'm behind. So I had to pick some up on the way in.
Longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. Call the show toll-free. Dial 1-888-COCAINE-1. That's 1-888-COCAINE-1. And now, here's...
All right, guys, welcome to the program. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Welcome, one and all. We've got a lot to talk about today. We've got some major follow-up on the Durham report, which we're going to get into. Some major story and updates with Mike Lindell, the inventor of the MyPillow. But I'm going to start this morning talking about what's going on in Canada with the Freedom Convoy. And what is going on in Canada with the Freedom Truckers is completely insane to me. Completely insane. I hope we hear from some Canadian callers today, because as I'm seeing Canadians have their speech silenced by law enforcement, by the upper levels of their government, I keep hearing Canadians tell people, well, I've got a copy here of the Canadian Rights and Charter. In America, they don't teach us anything about Canada, quite frankly, just basically where it is. William Shatner's from Canada. That's about all we learn. I'm serious. We learn nothing about the Canadian system. And is this oppressive behavior by the government in Canada typical? We're waking up this morning. Trudeau has declared martial law in Canada. And, I know. It's insane. And the Deputy Prime Minister, I hate to say, I can't say worse than Trudeau, but she's certainly equal to Trudeau. Let me read that. I'll play the audio in a minute, but this is from Trending Politics. Justin Trudeau is making a declaration of emergency to suspend civil rights and impose a state of martial law due to the Freedom Convoy protest. Trudeau is invoking an executive order that was formerly called the War Measures Act. Well, that sounds pretty serious. The Emergencies Act is the rebrand used during 2 world wars and in 1970. This is the last time it was used, in 1970, when militant Quebec separatists kidnapped a British diplomat. You're telling me that the Freedom Truckers rise to the level of these Quebec separatists in 1970? They kidnapped a British diplomat? What am I missing? The Canadian military is poised to intervene against the truckers, according to Canadian media reports. Trudeau's arbitrary invocation of the Emergencies Act rather than recognize the fundamental rights of Canadian citizens, thus effectively suspends their Constitution, the Charter, and even the International Covenant on Civil Rights. Where is Amnesty International? A number of premiers, that's their equivalent to the governors of the provinces, a number of premiers have pushed back against Trudeau for invoking the Emergencies Act, rather than recognize the legitimacy of the Freedom Convoy protesters wanting their rights to be respected. Well, sadly, it doesn't matter what the premiers do in Canada. He did it. Trudeau did it. The Premier of Saskatchewan, don't ask me to spell Saskatchewan, says this: the illegal blockades must end. But police already have sufficient tools to enforce law and clear the blockades as they did over the weekend in Windsor. Therefore, Saskatchewan does not support the Trudeau government invoking the Emergencies Act. You know, it's interesting. This guy, this Premier, he says he doesn't support Trudeau invoking it, but he does support what it's doing, clearing out the protest. If the federal government does proceed with this measure, I would hope it would only be invoked in provinces that request it, as the legislation allows, he added. I don't think so. This is going to be a nationwide effort if there are truckers protesting somewhere. The Premier of Manitoba, this is what he said: I am proud of Manitoba's law enforcement officials and have full confidence in them to protect our community. The proposal from the federal government to use the Emergencies Act, which is martial law, is not helpful to the situation at the border. That's the Premier of Manitoba. Note, these guys are so wishy-washy. They're on both sides of this. Alberta's Premier told reporters, Trudeau earlier on Monday, that he would prefer if the Emergencies Act did not apply to Alberta and it was unnecessary in his province. The Premier of Quebec warned that he did not want the Emergencies Act to be applied to his province. He thought such a measure would be divisive. It's not time to throw fuel on the fire. On Sunday, Canadian police began mass arrest of Freedom Convoy protesters. By the way, where is the media on this? I understand the Super Bowl was over the weekend, but where's the media? Here we have, in the English-speaking world, in our hemisphere, just a short drive from the U.S. border, really. How long does it take to get to Ottawa from the United States by car? Here we have mass arrest of peaceful protesters. Where's the media? You know, I will give Fox credit for something, okay? John Roberts on Fox, I did not know, is Canadian. He may be a U.S. citizen now, but he's a Canadian. And I don't know if this has anything to do with him or not, but I have noticed over the past several days, Fox News has enlisted Canadian reporters, Canadian TV reporters. They've been bringing on Fox News because they have a better understanding of the background, the system, and everything. And there's been some pretty good reporting on Fox News, and maybe that's John Roberts having the Canadian connection there. But where's the media on this story? Yeah, where's the Republicans? Where's Kevin McCarthy? I understand we've got the Durham report. We're going to talk about that later. But this is, the Freedom Convoy, that's MAGA. That Freedom Convoy is happening because Trump came down that escalator 7 years ago, almost 7 years ago. On Sunday, Canadian police began mass arrest of Freedom Convoy protesters who had blocked the Ambassador Bridge for nearly a week. But now the Canadian government has a whole new problem. The Windsor police announced the operation to arrest the Freedom Convoy protesters on Sunday morning. The police also announced that vehicles were being towed and that Canadians should avoid the area. You know, I saw some video of plainclothes undercover police officers working the crowd, passing themselves off as protesters, as Freedom Convoy members. The protests were being recorded by journalists until police forcibly expelled the journalists from the area. So get a peaceful protest, and I'll tell you, these Canadian cops are wimps because they keep roughing up and arresting old men, and not just old men, little old men. The guy last week that they slammed up against the car, there's a new video I saw Yesterday, where they're dragging this poor little old man through a parking lot, notice the cops up there aren't confronting the truck drivers themselves. They're cowardly. Tactical assault vehicles were brought in to intimidate protesters. Police cleared nearby protests in support of the Freedom Convoy. So they're not just clearing out the Freedom truckers themselves, they're going beyond that. If you have a small demonstration somewhere in support of them, they're clearing you out too. Canadian veterans stepped in and formed a line to slow down the police moving into the area, but what are they going to do, right? For every Ambassador Bridge the Canadian government clears, there will be new border crossing blockades and Freedom Convoy protests, say activists. Oh my goodness. The Washington Post has reported more protests and border blockades are in progress. The protesters continued to block parts of Canada's capital city, Ottawa, for the third consecutive weekend, staged disruptive blockades at other border crossings in Canada, according to the Washington Post. Disruptions have plagued other vital cross-border arteries. In Toronto, police are actually blocking off roads to prevent Canadians from having their freedom of movement restricted by the protests. They see this is insane. Our number's toll-free 1-888-GO-CANE-1. You know what this behavior reminds me of? You know what the government is doing with the liberal? If they were Americans, they'd be Democrats, Trudeau and these people. But these liberals in Canada and the police, when the Democrats used police to round up African American civil rights protesters in the Jim Crow Democrat-controlled South, when they were hosing them down with the fire hoses and all of that, arresting people, bashing the freedom riders' heads. That's what this looks like to me. This is a civil rights issue. These are civil rights activists. And guess what? The Canadian reporters, because I've been watching these Canadian reporters on Fox, and I've also been watching a lot of people online that are streaming from the Freedom Convoy over the past few days. They say that 95%, which is a very high rate, 95% of the Freedom Convoy members are vaccinated. 95. That's actually gone up. It was 85 when this first started. 95, I've heard that reported multiple times in multiple sources. So this isn't about that. Okay? They want the media, they want you to make it about that. And I'll tell you another thing. This martial law that's been declared by Trudeau in Canada, and this roundup and this roughing up of old men, talking about the army arresting people just because they support the protesters. This happened right after Trudeau had that conversation with Biden. What did the Biden administration tell Trudeau to do? And I'll tell you one thing I know they did: promise not to condemn him. They have the silent support of the American government, this Trudeau government. They don't even feel like this is my country anymore. This is not the country that I used to live in. Things are much different. Now I'm going to take our first break. When we get back, I'm going to get into some of the audio. We're going to hear from Trudeau and the Deputy Prime Minister. She's a real piece of work. Oh, man. She's a real piece of work. Now, I want to first tell you, though, about my anti-aging doctor, Dr. Mitch Matez at the Bio Station. Dr. Mitch Matez is the originator. He actually brought hormone replacement pellet therapy to South Florida, the first to do this, back in 2005, I believe, off the top of my head. I'm a patient of Dr. Matez, and I know a lot of you are too. Hormone replacement pellet therapy, they're these tiny little pellets about the size of a grain of rice before you add water, and Dr. Matez inserts them into your hip. And what they are, they're all 100% natural hormones. As you grow older, your body produces fewer and fewer hormones. That's part of the aging process. It's why you lose your energy, you lose your hair, you lose your sex drive, your ability to have sex. It's why you have menopause. It's why you feel... And what hormone replacement pellet therapy with Dr. Mitch Matez at the Bio Station does is restore those hormone levels to where they were when you were in your 20s. You get your energy back, your sex drive back, your ability to have sex back, and to perform, guys. If you're men and women, it works for both. Men and women, if you're suffering from hair loss, your hair loss will stop in its tracks. The hair you have left will grow back thicker and fuller. Women, hormone replacement pellet therapy will 100% stop and reverse the signs and symptoms of menopause. Night sweat's gone. Mood swings gone. Vaginal dryness, that's gone in reverse too. And women, you'll get your sex drive back as well. And I've told you guys so many times, I have met listeners of this program before and after hormone replacement pellet therapy. When I meet them before, they're like Biden. Hey, long-time listener, love it. And then I'll meet them again down the road. Sometimes I don't even recognize them. This is both with men and women. This has happened to me many times. I'll meet them after they become patients of Dr. Mitch Matez and have begun hormone replacement pellet therapy. They're standing tall. They almost have a square jaw who's developed. They have energy. Hey, Brian, remember me? I met you last. And I was like, wow. They're an entirely different person because they've had completely natural hormone replacement pellet therapy, and it's restored them. It also, no matter how old you are, give him a call. Hormone replacement pellet therapy also helps if you're suffering from cognitive decline, memory loss, and all of that goes along with that. Give Dr. Matez a call at the biostation. Make sure you tell him you heard about them on the radio, because it's a completely free consultation with Dr. Mitch Matez if you mention you heard about them on the radio. Everyone else has to pay for that consultation. Here's the number, 561-320-8893. 561-320-8893. Once again, 561-953-5493 for Dr. Mitch Matez at the biostation.
COVID test? Maybe you need a COVID test for work or school. Stop by Any Lab Test Now of Boca or Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. They offer all the COVID testing panels you need at the lowest prices, including the antibody test. Results in 15 minutes. Any Lab Test Now of Boca is located in the Sandalwood Plaza, where Whiskey Road is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsborough on the east side of 441 South Road 7. Call 561-237-5009. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University Drive in Ramblewood, near the Coral Square Mall in Coral Springs. Call 954-906-5983. Make sure to tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
Just search for W.
All righty, we're back 19 minutes after the hour. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are listening to the program from. 1-888-465-2631. Don't forget to check me out and watch on YouTube. I'm live streaming on YouTube each and every morning here on the program. And there's a very opinionated and active chat room there. Just search Brian Craig or The Brian Craig Show on YouTube. All right, let's go to the phones. If you're just waking up, Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, has declared martial law in Canada because of the Peaceful Freedom Convoy. Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, this is Sandra calling from Indiana.
Sandra in Indiana. What's on your mind?
Well, I have a theory that with all this talk of Trudeau and Biden always putting out that peaceful demonstrators are terrorists, this, that, and the other, that it is a mass formation psychosis like what Hitler used back during his time.
What are you talking about, like trying to create a villain?
Well,
instead of the Jews, you mean the truckers?
yeah. They put out this, they spew out this hate that truckers and people that want freedom are terrorists, this, that, and the other. Just like with the vaccine,
Yeah. Well, the problem they're going to have with the truckers, see, Europe had many centuries of anti-Semitic nonsense going on in Europe prior to the Nazis, prior to Hitler. So anti-Semitism was something that was already there. Working men and women and truck drivers, everyone loves truck drivers. Truck drivers are like, every kid wants to be one when they grow up, and everybody respects them. So it's hard to take a group of the most respected people. It's like all of a sudden turning around and trying to make firefighters or nurses villains. It won't work.
So that's exactly what they've been doing for the last year, is vilifying the good people and turning people against us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, yeah.
From the side.
You know, and this is the first time in my lifetime Canada has been in the American news for more than a minute in a news cycle. The last time Canada, and I mean this, the last time Canada was in the news for more than a day was when the Canadians snuck some Americans out of Tehran during Jimmy Carter's era. This is Canada never makes the American news, and we've never talked about Canada on the program. Really, I can't think of any time we've ever talked about Canada, and here we have this. I believe this is part of the MAGA movement, the truckers in Canada. What do you think?
I feel it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel that we've got people running our government that, I hate to say it, that just plain evil.
Well, they hate us. They hate us, and they're very angry. This is also part of Trump derangement syndrome. The Canadian establishment, the American establishment, and the British establishment are the same establishment. Like Mayor Pete's a Rhodes Scholar. He went to Oxford. I know. Yeah, just like Bill Clinton. So there's a connection. There's a connection to these people. And when Trump came down the escalator and we elected him in 2016, they lost their grip a little bit.
Democrat Party, all they want to do is dictate. That's all they want to do.
Well, it's like, I was watching, there's this new show on HBO, which is not that good, called The Gilded Age. It's done by the people that did Downton Abbey. And what it's about is it's about the battle in New York during the Gilded Age, the turn of, like the 1880s, 1890s, when there were all these new money people were moving into New York, and the establishment money, the old blue blood money people, like the Vanderbilts and all those people at Astor's, were starting to lose their influence because these new people who had made money in business were coming in. And that's a lot about that. That's very similar to what's going on with the MAGA movement and with the Freedom Convoy. The establishment, they've lost their grip and they're desperate to get it back. But everything Trudeau has done, including declaring martial law, is been a mistake. It's going to make things worse.
It is. But like I said, it's mass formation psychosis. Mass
formation psychosis. I can see that. I think you're right. They're trying to do that here with our January 6th prisoners, with the MAGA movement, with President Trump, and now this. Yeah. Hey, listen, thanks for the call. I appreciate it. Now, let me play some of this audio. If you'd like to call in, please do. 1-888-GO-CANE 1-888-465-2631. Well, let's hear from Trudeau first. This is Trudeau over the weekend. Okay, this is before he declared martial law. This is Trudeau over the weekend.
If you joined the protests because you're tired of COVID, you now need to understand that you are breaking laws.
Oh.
The consequences are becoming more and more severe.
Now they weren't breaking laws at first, but the government came in, and when they realized they were peaceful, law-abiding Canadian truckers, they passed some new laws so that they could, they passed new laws to deal with this event that was ongoing so they could criminalize it.
You don't want to end up losing your license, end up with a criminal record.
Look at this. So now this is over the weekend before martial law. He's threatening the truckers with taking away their driver's license. They need that to live. Taking away their truck.
Your livelihood.
Oh.
Your ability to travel internationally, including to the U.S. We've heard your frustration with COVID, with the measures that are there to keep people safe. We've heard you. It's time to go home now.
All right, I tell you, there's a spoiled trust fund guy, isn't it? Oh, my goodness. Never worked a day in his life. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. So this was yesterday. as he declares martial law.
The federal government has invoked the Emergencies Act to supplement provincial and territorial capacity to address the blockades and occupations.
Okay, now, this Emergencies Act, which was last used in 1970 when Quebec separatists kidnapped a British diplomat, so terrorist. This was last used against a terrorist, a kidnapper, that could have caused an international incident. This is insanity. And remember, martial law is a suspension of your civil liberties, beyond not just curfews, your speech. So the deputy prime minister, let me pull her up. She is a real piece of work. This is the deputy prime minister of Canada, who got a little more specific about what they're doing. Listen to this.
This is about following the money. This is about stopping the financing of these illegal blockades. We are today serving notice. If your truck is being used in these illegal blockades, your corporate accounts will be frozen.
Wow. So, yeah. See, this is what they were doing to Mike Lindell, which we have an update on with his bank. So, if your truck is being used, now that's interesting. That means you may not even be using it. Maybe you drove over there and your truck is stuck and can't get out because of the traffic. Maybe you want it to be there. Maybe you've got two trucks. Maybe one of your employees took your truck. Who knows? Whatever the situation, if your truck is there, they're going to freeze your bank account. They're treating these guys, it's worse, I'll play more of it, but they're treating these guys like you treat drug cartels. This is how the government deals with drug cartels. You know, I'm real curious because this is a very sophisticated clampdown on these truckers in many different ways. I'm really wondering, I would like to know how much our government is consulting and advising the Canadians, because Trudeau's an idiot. If he wasn't doing this, he would be at some ski lodge somewhere. Spoiled trust fund guy. It sounds to me like they've got some Americans in our government, Democrats no doubt, who are advising and consulting with the Canadian authorities. Okay, back to this. This is the Deputy Prime Minister of Canada.
This is about following the money. This is about stopping the financing of these illegal blockades. We are today serving notice. If your truck is being used in these illegal blockades, your corporate accounts will be frozen. The insurance on your vehicle will be suspended.
Oh my goodness. So they're going to freeze your money. They're going to suspend your insurance.
Send your semi-trailers home. The Canadian economy needs them to be doing legitimate work, not to be illegally making us all poorer.
Making us all poor. I don't think she's poor. So then they took it a step further. So, okay, banks have federal oversight, but what about crowdfunding? We've been hearing these stories about the crowdfunding money getting seized and shut down.
We are broadening the scope of Canada's anti-money laundering and terrorist financing rules so that they cover crowdfunding platforms and the payment service providers they use.
Wow. So if you're involved in crowdfunding support of the truckers, you're involved in money laundering and funding terrorism. So now they've declared the truckers, peaceful truckers, terrorist. Excuse me, I gotta have a drink. Let me take our break. Then I gotta have a drink. I got a dry throat here. We'll be right back.
Chicago, AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network, WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Attention seniors and those who care about them. This is Brian Craig. I'm in studio with Debbie from I Will Advisors. She has an incredible new service to tell you about called I Will Advocates. Debbie, what is I Will Advocates and how are you helping seniors?
Well, Brian, over the past few years of owning a Medicare insurance agency, we've learned that there's a huge need for Medicare advocacy, that a lot of people don't have a child or a spouse that can assist them with their medical needs, and that's where we step in.
There's a lot of things that seniors need help with. Prescriptions, doctor's appointments, things like this. How do you help them with that?
If you're having a problem at the doctor's office, having problems scheduling in a timely manner, we can
Exactly.
step in. If you're having issues at the pharmacy, having problems refilling a prescription, or feel that you're being mischarged for something, you can contact us and we will step in. Even if you're at the hospital and you feel like you're being neglected, we'll be there for you at a touch of a button, whether it's to call the nurse's station or assist in any other way.
So if someone's in the hospital, they feel they're not getting the care that they need.
If you're new
they
here,
haven't
make
seen
sure
their
you
doctor, they
subscribe.
haven't seen their
And
nurse,
everyone,
they can
please
actually
like
call
the
you
video.
and you'll
Like the
contact
video.
hospital for them?
Click that
Absolutely.
notification
We
bell.
ask
All
your
of that
family.
helps
Step
spread
up,
the
we'll
word
call the
about
nurse's
my
station
content.
and ask for some assistance. If we can't get anything done there, we'll go to the higher levels.
Now, this is a service that you're offering. Now, they
No,
do
I just
not
had it.
have to be
I'm fine. I just have dry
an
throat.
existing client of I Will Advisors to take advantage of this.
I just took the mic off so I could
No, we're here for
clear
any
my throat.
Medicare
Just a dry
client.
throat.
We can assist in any way. We don't need to be your
Steve
insurance
Kane Show.
agent. We're just here to help you with your medical needs.
This is an
Hey, hold on.
incredible opportunity for those of you who are Medicare recipients. Debbie at I Will Advocates will help you with your prescriptions. You'll set up doctor's appointments for them, including the primary care physician and specialist, right?
Of course, we'll assist in anything helping you find new doctors.
They'll help you with your medical billing. They'll help you with your insurance billing. If you feel you've been billed wrong by your doctor, they'll step in for that and even help you if you're in the hospital. Basically, what you're offering is a concierge service to senior citizens.
That's exactly it.
That's amazing. I've never heard of anything like this before. So how much does this cost?
Well, for just $20 a month, you will have the security of knowing
Oh,
that you
no,
have
just a dry throat, that's all.
advocate.
I talk a lot between the 3-hour radio show and my podcast and all these commercials you hear I record and my weekend live streams. I talk a lot.
345-1214 or go online. You can sign up online at iwilladvocates.com. That's iwilladvocates.com.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782. Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right, 34 minutes after the hour. If you're just tuning in, Canada has declared martial law on the they call them terrorists. The terrorist truckers. Oh my goodness. Sitting there peacefully trying to keep warm on a hot stove, they call you a terrorist. Trudeau has declared war, claiming that the truckers are terrorists. They have said that crowdfunding is terrorism and money laundering. They have said that they will confiscate trucks, cancel your insurance, arrest you. Martial law. Civil liberties have been suspended in Canada over the Freedom Trucker Convoy. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. It's Joseph in Montreal.
Hey, Joseph in Montreal. Oh, my goodness. Is it okay for you to speak with me? Does the martial law go into your home and restrict your speech over the telephone?
Yeah, I got to be real careful. I suppose they might come knocking at my door. You never know.
Yeah, we're not kidding. There was that lady cop that knocked on that woman's door the other day because she posted on that Facebook group. So, you know.
Yeah. By the way, I agree totally with your analysis on the situation that's going on up here. It's very sad. It's just terrible. The Constitution we have, or the so-called Constitution, as far as I'm concerned, is not worth the paper it's printed on. They have this term in there, or a clause in there called the notwithstanding clause. Basically override any right, or so-called their definition of a right that is in there, which is very unfortunate.
Wow. Yeah, the Constitution of the United States doesn't have that clause in it.
You have a solid Constitution which protects you from the government. We do not have that here.
Well, one of the things you're missing, that's terrible. One of the things you're missing is the Second Amendment, too. You know, I read this story that they found a bunch of weapons on the truckers, and they put them on display
I've gone hunting with guys that have more weaponry than they're displaying in these photos.
I know, and this thing about that situation with arresting these guys with the weapons, that to me that's just a nonsensical story trying to once again, paint these freedom fighters into a situation which they really don't.
Well, a lot of Canadians, because you don't have the situation with guns in Canada that we have in America, a lot of Canadians, and maybe a huge chunk of the population, are terrified of guns. I've seen some of your police shows on TV down here, like on Netflix, and they have special units they call in like a special SWAT team if there's a gun involved in a crime sometimes, at least in the police shows from Canada that I've seen. So that they put out 5 or 6 guns, and a lot of Canadians get scared. But I got to tell you, it seems to me that public opinion has to be very far against everything that the government has done with these truckers. It's been 100% peaceful.
Absolutely, and and this whole thing about this Emergencies Act that they're just enacting right now. Before that, what they had to do with their minions in the media, which are part of the liberal establishment, is to paint these guys as the bad people that they certainly are not, and they did that first to try to get public opinion on their side, and then they went ahead with this Emergencies Act, which is a farce. It's a farce.
Yeah, but they're going to use it, and I'll tell you, the cops seem very cowardly. I've only seen them arrest and rough up like little old men. I don't see them trying to arrest the truckers.
I've seen that too, but I suspect a lot of the police officers are on the side of the freedom fighters, but they're forced to do their job, unfortunately.
I don't know about that. When you deal with people that work for the government, a lot of liberal-minded people work for the government, and whatever job it is. That goes for your military, for your police. I'm not saying that they're all liberal, but anything that's government work, the majority lean to the left. And I've been watching this footage out of Canada with the police officers. Some of them seem to be enjoying it.
Yeah, no, you're right. Canada is a very left-leaning country, unfortunately. And
well, let me ask you, because we learn nothing about your country or your process. We just learn where it's at, and that's about it. And I'm serious. But what now? When this is over, what happens to Trudeau? Are there enough people in Parliament that agree with the truckers that could call an election that he would lose?
So, no, probably not. He does have a minority government, but I don't think they'll call an election over this. I hope they do, but last time he called an election before his term expired, Canadians reelected him, which is I can't fathom.
So if there was an election now, you think he'd win?
That's a good question. I certainly hope not, but there's a lot of liberals that vote this guy.
Well, I gotta tell, I was very surprised when Ford, the premier, did a 180 and came out and supported Trudeau's position.
Yeah, so was I. Well, once again, he's a politician, and there are a lot of liberals in Ontario, and he's catering to those people. That's what.
Now, is he up for re-election for it or something?
I believe he is.
Nah, it might have something to do with it. I mean, he should stand with the. I mean, we only know who he is because of the brother and the crack and everything, but they seem like all right guys, the Ford brothers, even with the crack problem, And now I saw him over the weekend talk about the Freedom Convoy like Trudeau. It was disgusting. But listen, this is a big mistake. They clamp down on us in this country, not like this, but they do. And what's going to happen is they may, what is that? You win the battle, but you lose the war. And I don't mean war in a violent way. What's going to happen is, and I think I talked to you about this the other day. They have started. This is the beginning of a new political movement. And what I see going on in Canada right now, I said this at the top of the show, looks to me in color what we used to see in black and white in the 50s and 60s in America when the Democrats were with fire hoses taking them out against black civil rights activist attacking black civil rights activists in this country during our civil rights movement. It's that out of control. And I'll tell you another thing it reminds me of. It reminds me of Iran, about 12, 13 years ago when the students were rising up with silent protest in the streets, nonviolent protest in the streets, and the Iranians came in and started shooting them and bashing their heads in and doing mass arrest. It also reminds me of Tiananmen Square. And a lot of people in the news are showing the photograph of that Chinese man in front of the tank, that still photograph. No one tells you what happened. The tank ran him over and killed him. And this reminds me of Tiananmen Square. This is one of the, I think this may very well be the largest federal government civil rights violations maybe in the history of the United States and Canada, because during the civil rights movement, that wasn't the federal government. Those were local Democrats out of control. U.S. federal government came in and stopped that. This may be the largest civil rights abuse in our two countries' histories taking place right now in Canada.
Yeah, I agree. And they went as far as to say that these gentlemen here with their trucks, they're fighting for our freedoms. And they have called this a national security threat. How can this be a national security threat?
What are the stores like in Canada? Is there a shortage of bread and milk and things in the grocery stores because of the truckers, or are things still available?
Well, no, there has been a shortage since they started all the lockdowns, these COVID lockdowns 2 years ago. There's been a shortage.
Okay, so whatever shortages they are have nothing to do with this. They've been going on. Well, listen, feel free to call in anytime and let us know what's going on, because like I say, the process, the systems, the players, we really just don't have a working knowledge here in this country of it. So when we get our Canadian callers in to give us some expertise, it's helpful.
Yes, I'll definitely call it. But once again, the shortage is not caused by the truckers. The shortages are caused by the government, by the Liberal.
Yeah, and the biggest shortage right now is the shortage on liberty. All right, take care, man. Thanks so much. All right, good morning. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Thomas from Boca.
Hey, Boca, what's up?
March 9th, I heard there's going to be something similar in the United States. They're trying to organize it now. So, from California to D.C. But if that happens, can Biden try to use the same thing that Trudeau's doing and claim that they're terrorists? I mean,
well, what they would probably do, what I'd like to see is kind of like the Million Man March, but the Million Trucker Drive to D.C. or something. Or to the border, to the Canadian border, whatever the border crossing would be to Ottawa or something, And yeah, what they would do is Mayor Pete and Biden would have meltdowns, and they would declare, because of the supply chain crisis, they very well would overreact like Trudeau was doing with the truckers. Absolutely.
Well, I mean, it seems like they're putting it together now. They have a lot of support, and I frequent truck routes, and I see these posters posted everywhere about this March 9th movement, and I also on Facebook. I don't know how far along they've gotten, but it looks like they're going to go for it.
Where are you seeing where are you seeing posters outside of Facebook about this?
In truck areas, like I happen to go up and down 95 corridor, the Route 4 corridor, and I see the truck stops and stuff like that.
Oh, really? Like the rest stops on 95 and the Turnpike and stuff? There's signs up about a March 19th truckers event. Where are they? March 9th. Okay, March 9th. Where are they? Are they talking about going to Washington? What are they talking about?
It's from California to D.C.
Oh, so are they asking for local protest, or are they asking for truckers from California and everywhere else to drive to D.C.? What's the plan?
It's not truckers. It's all truckers. It's aimed at truckers. Brotherhood, stick together on this.
Well, Steve was asking about the Teamsters on Friday's show, and the Teamsters released a statement over the weekend denouncing the Freedom Convoy, the Freedom Truckers. Shocker.
Yeah. On the road these days, a lot of independents are back out there, and Teamsters aren't as popular as you would think.
Well, maybe they could pick up some members if they thought people were going to advocate for them. They're advocating for the government here. I mean, can you think? Let me ask you this, because I mean, have you seen this martial law being declared of a completely peaceful protest? Have you ever seen civil liberties violated at this level in the United States or Canada in your lifetime like this? I haven't.
No, not at all. And I mean, it's hard to believe. I'm reading about it, but I really can't stand even them doing that. I mean, you're taking away people's rights. I mean, you have the right to speak out. I mean, it's like suppression. I mean,
yeah, and where's the media? This isn't like, if they were behaving like Occupy Wall Street, for example. At Occupy Wall Street, those centers were violent. People were being robbed, assaulted, raped. They were defecating in police vehicles. There was drugs. There was all kinds of prostitution going on. And Occupy Wall Street was praised as some heroic event in American history, and that was nationwide in cities throughout the country. And this is completely peaceful. And I'll tell you, I've been watching a lot of the video. It's even clean so far as litter. The truckers, they're very neat and tidy. They're not even littering. Literally, they're not littering. I'm not using that as an example. They are not even, it's like spotless up there.
Well, drivers are just basically, all these truck drivers, they're hard-working people. They do a hard job to support their family. They're not fly-by-night yuppies that have some rich endowment behind them. These are people that work for a living, and for them to take their time out to do this, it's because they really feel that their rights are being violated. You start giving into one thing, and everything is going to...
Indeed. Yeah.
Well, they want to be independent. They want to be on the road, and that's why the idea about being on the road, you're free.
Freedom of the road, yes.
And now they're taking away a freedom of theirs by their choice, and who knows what's next. So you have to stop it somewhere, and I applaud them for for this effort, and I'm great it's lasted this long, but they're not getting the message.
Mm-hmm.
Problem is, and imagine in this country, I don't know how the Biden administration or the people behind Biden are going to react.
Yeah, well, I believe they had that phone call, Biden and Trudeau, and then this happened. I believe we have people in our government, maybe even at the General Milley level and Homeland Security level, that are advising the Canadians and doing what they're being advised to by Americans. I think the phone, and they certainly have silent support. Listen, I got to run for our last break of the hour, but thanks for the call from Boca. If you're on hold, stand by. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Craig. Back after this.
Brian Craig here. You've heard us talk about the great low prices.
Elizabeth, $50 super chat. Thank you so much. Everyone, please thank Elizabeth. Brian, thank you for being so inspiring and for your wonderful chat family. So smart. Well, thank you, Elizabeth. And everyone, please thank her for that. Steve Kane Show. There you go. Steve Kane Show. Hold on. Steve Kane Show. Hold on. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe, and that helps me a lot. Like the video, everyone, if you don't mind. And if you could click that notification bell, that helps me a lot, too. All those things tell the YouTube algorithm to recommend my content to other people that like this kind of content.
Tire a call right now. We'll give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Don't waste time going anywhere else. You will never find prices as low as Friendly Tire in Margate.
This is Lori Kane, and I want to talk to you about Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting. We needed a new roof, and we knew we needed a new roof, but we just procrastinated. We saw wet spots on the ceilings. We called Tom Laporta, and he came out. He did a free roof inspection, which he does for everybody, not just us. And sure enough, we needed a new roof. We had a mold problem. It was only going to get worse.
Oh, man.
With our HOA association, he fixed our roof.
Oh.
We take care of the roof. He took care of the ceiling stains. And so they removed all the popcorn, they cleaned everything up, they painted, they sealed inside and out. Everything is beautiful. And I have to tell you, when we get those hard South Florida rainstorms, it is such a pleasure to listen to the raindrops on the roof and not have to worry about it leaking or causing further problems. The staff was courteous. Tom answered every question. Call Tom Laporta for a free roof inspection. He does residential and commercial properties, and his cell number is 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. Make sure you tell him Lori Kane sent you.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search.
Good morning, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Hey, Cheryl in Michigan, what's up?
I just wanted to share what's happening up around our area for the Blue Water Bridge. I think our governor is giving advice to Canada and working with them as far as closing off the east.
Oh, well, that's interesting. You're talking about Governor Whitmer. Now, I'm not an attorney. You guys can call Mark Levin about this, but as a governor, for her to be involved in any type of foreign policy discussion involving things like this with a foreign government, I believe is illegal. I think that's a crime that Governor Whitmer would be committing if she's doing that.
I agree.
I don't know. I'm not an attorney, but I thought that negotiating with foreign governments on a border issue was criminal.
Well, she's, I don't know if it's her or from advice from her, but on I-69 eastbound to the Blue Water Bridge, they have it closed off, so you cannot.
That's interesting. Boy, don't you wish that these Democrats would close down our southern border so you couldn't cross unless you had proper documentation? And I'll tell you this about Governor Whitmer, and I don't say this just because I don't like her and don't support her, okay? But I've seen her speak a lot, during the lockdown period, and this is just an observation. This is just an observation. She looks insane to me. She doesn't look lucid. She does not look like she's in control of herself. She looks insane.
She is. She absolutely.
And I don't mean that she has outrageous policies that I disagree with. I believe she looks not stable mentally to me.
Right, yeah. I heard it on the news through our telephones, and I went and actually drove to go look, and sure enough, they have the roads going eastbound on I-69 shut right down.
Wow.
But he can get on. It's ridiculous. All the way back to M19, which is approximately 20 miles from the bridge.
Yeah, and Governor Whitmer is one of those Democrats. While you Michiganders were locked down and all these restrictions, she was partying up on South Beach in Miami Beach like it's 1999 with no restrictions here in Ron DeSantis' free Florida.
I also heard that she moved her mom down there.
Oh, well, hey, Florida's the place to be. It's where freedom is. Unlike Governor Whitmer's, I guess she wanted her mother to live in freedom, not under her tyrannical reign in Michigan.
Exactly. Thank you, Brian.
Well, thank you.
So.
All right, thank you. All right, let's go to Wisconsin. Gary, a truck driver. Maybe he knows about this March 9th trucker event.
I've been hearing things about it, but I actually signed up for a text thing, and the only thing that I heard is that they replied back with stay tuned, so I haven't heard much, but trying to find more about it, like on various other social medias, I haven't seen a whole lot about it. But, as you were talking about what Trudeau is trying to do now with trying to block the financing and all this other stuff, let me tell you, when you get into truck driving, it is not an easy thing. One, you got to buy the truck, you got to get your permits, your insurances, and all that other stuff. Trudeau, what he is going to try to do, in my opinion, he is going to make it actually harder for everybody in Canada to have food. Instead of caving in and being a decent prime minister, he's actually going to make it much harder for his country, where all of a sudden you're going to start eliminating people, their license, their banking, and all that other stuff into trucking.
All right, so this is okay. This is interesting. What Gary's saying. What you're suggesting Trudeau might do is create a crisis and shortages and then blame the truckers for what he caused.
Right. So if you take your license and registration away from the truck, that guy can't legally be on the road, because if he gets pulled over, he's going to get black flagged and probably arrested. So whatever that freight that's sitting on that trailer, sitting along the side of the road or at the DOT, Canadian weigh station, is going to sit there and be delayed. So
let me ask you, if you have a load that's delayed, can that cost you money as an independent trucker? Really?
It does. It does cost me money, because then if there's any late fees, which can be anywhere between $100 up to 5 hours late, which could cost me up to $1,000.
5 hours late can cost you $1,000?
It can cost me $1,000.
So that could be your whole profit. Maybe. I don't know.
Literally every 3/4 of my profit.
Wow.
Where the load goes. But, Trudeau should just cave in, but because he's got that communist thing in him and thinking that he's always right, and if he is talking with Biden, because I think the last time that there was a convoy in the U.S., they did start attacking people's EIN numbers, which is their company number and all that other stuff. If Biden is doing that same thing with Trudeau in their own country, you will see Canada hit harder with all these guys, with truckers, and I think Canada, the truckers, because I give Canada such a great, big welcome for everything that they've done, because now all of a sudden it's changing things here in the U.S. Because now all of a sudden if the U.S. Canadian convoy, or the U.S. convoy would start, the truckers do happen to fear some of the same things that could happen to them that put them out of business. And if there is more shortage of truckers, you will see the economy go down even further yet. Needless to say, from what Canada has already started, I'm hoping they can come to a great agreement, and hopefully, get Trudeau out of office and change their country around because of the mandate. When some of the drivers have had the mandate, because most of them did, don't get me wrong on that, but if Trudeau keeps up with this, he will bring his own country down by himself.
Oh, yeah. I don't think with Trudeau, it's not so much that he's a communist. His father was prime minister in the early 90s, so he's just a spoiled brat who's always gotten his way, and the servants never tell him no. And he just thinks he's a superior person than hardworking people. That's all. He's just a spoiled brat.
From all the times I have seen him talk, it's like he's got that spoiled mentality. Instead of actually thinking of the consequences of his own country, he's just thinking, well, it's my way or the no way.
Well, he's never done an honest day's labor, and he doesn't know anyone that showers after work. You know what I mean?
Nobody of these politicians, except for a few that had businesses in the U.S., know what it's like having to get your hands dirty. And a lot of these politicians that are now in there, now you got Biden and then the secretary. These guys don't work a day in their life. They dirt under their fingernails.
Yeah.
Me and you, Brian, where we go out and we actually work on our house or whatever else to get along further down the road, to get our nails dirty. That's the pride that some of us take. Knowing that you did a hard day's work.
I was doing some work on the house.
You did it.
Got some tar on me. I missed.
Do in your future. Not have somebody just come in there and say, "Oh well, I want this done. I want this done." Blah blah blah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. All right, Gary, take care. Thanks for the call. All right, I'll squeeze in one more before the break. Good morning. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Brian. Rome, Wisconsin.
Rome, Wisconsin. Hey, Rome, Wisconsin. What's on your mind?
So, it was on Newsmax last night. It was either Greg Kelly or Stinchfield. They had the organizer for the U.S. Truckers.
Yeah, the Teamsters. Oh, no, wait. Oh, you mean the U.S. Truckers Convoy. Well, I miss Greg. Last night, after my podcast, I went to bed early. My wife said, "Do you want to stay and watch Greg Kelly?" And I said, I got to go. I'm so tired. I can't, And so he had on the head of the truckers event. Ugh.
Brian Brase, B-R-A-S-E. I took notes of this because I was going to do a polo on this, but since we're covering it, I decided to call in. So his name is Brian Brase. He says that the kickoff date is March 4th, and they're leaving from Coachella Valley in California. And he did not give an exact destination, but it's either Greg Kelly or Cinchfield, I forget. But they kind of said, "Are you heading to the swamp?" And he kind of laughed.
Yeah.
He said that as they leave California, there are all these other branches from the different states of truckers who are going to, slowly merge with them. So, as they're driving to...
So going to have a convoy.
Yeah, convoy, you betcha. And then just before he got off Newsmax, he gave a website. He said he invites everybody to come to thepeoplesconvoy.org to, come and read about the truckers. There's a truckers declaration. It's kind of a basic website, but, this Brian Brase, he was just a ton of information, and I suspect he is going to be on Newsmax.
What is it? The People's Convoy what?
Org.
Okay, I'm going to pull it up right now. I appreciate it. We're in Wisconsin. I got to take our break, but thanks for that info. I'll check. I'm on the website right now. I'll read through it after the break. All right, take care. Rome, Wisconsin. All right, we're a little late. We'll take our break for the top and be back.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Brian Craig here. We heard from
Steve Kane Show.
Listener of the Steve Kane Show, Wisconsin Gary.
Hold on.
He and his wife ordered the MyPillow foam mattress, and Wisconsin Gary called in to share their experience.
I pulled up the website she told me about, thepeoplesconvoy.org. Welcome. If you're new to the program, if you're a new subscriber, we picked up some subscribers here in the last few days that are new. My name is Brian Craig. I co-host this radio show in the morning, the Steve Kane Show. Done this for many years. We're on several radio stations. I also have a podcast that I upload here on YouTube, and I do live streams all the time throughout the weekends right here on this YouTube channel. So if you are conservative, if you're MAGA, if you support the truckers, you're going to love this stream. So make sure you subscribe, hit that like on the video, and if you guys could click the notification bell, that helps too, and tell all your friends.
Dr. Matez here from the Biostation West Delray. Many of you are familiar with the famous erection injection, an extremely effective treatment for erectile dysfunction made popular right here on the Steve Kane Show. I'm here to tell you that the erection injection is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the extensive array of treatment options now available at the Biostation West Delray. Our custom compounded products yield combinations and dosages that increase the efficacy of Viagra and Cialis greatly. We also offer treatments that can correct the problem at its source, such as PRP and sound wave pulse therapies that restore your natural function. State-of-the-art testing and the most current treatment options are all available in one place. The Biostation West Delray. If you want to correct your erectile problems once and
talking
for all,
about
call us at
trucking,
561-320-8893. That's
you can't do anything in Canada without the police knocking on your door.
That's true.
And that seems to be encouraged from our government.
Yep.
There's no reason why our government wouldn't come knocking on your door either.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised.
Free consultation, which, by the way, he offers to all Steve Kane listeners. I had 2 cavities. I needed a crown on top and a crown on the bottom. If I were a horse, they would have put me down. So I scheduled my appointment appointment for the next Saturday because Brighton Dental has Saturday appointments available, and they save me a ton of money. And I will be a patient for life. Don't let cost stop you from taking care of.
Where is that article?
Brighton Dental gives Steve Kane listeners incredible discounts on all dental procedures, just like they gave me. Prices are so reasonable, you don't have to worry about the cost. So call Brighton Dental today at 954-922-4633. That's 954-922-4633. You can visit them at brightondental.com and tell them Lori Kane sent you.
Here we go. Coming back, hour number 2.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll free, dial 1-888-COCAINE-1. That's 1-888.
Alrighty, hour number 2 has begun. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 45 years on the airwaves this year, the Steve Kane Show. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm going to recap what's going on for those that are just tuning in. The MAGA movement of Canada, the Freedom Convoy, the Prime Minister of Canada has declared martial law, and things are getting pretty heated. Let me play, let me see here, let me pull this up, hold on. Yes. Here is Trudeau declaring martial law yesterday in Canada against the Freedom Convoy.
The federal government has invoked the Emergencies Act to supplement provincial and territorial capacity to address the blockades and occupations.
Okay, now, this used to be called the War Powers Act in Canada. This is the first time it's been put into use since 1970, so the first time in 52 years. And when it was last put in place, Quebec separatists kidnapped a British diplomat. So that's what they're using against the peaceful Freedom Truckers. So then they've got a lady deputy prime minister who's about as bright as our lady VP. And let me pull this up here, and then I'll take some calls. I got more stuff, but where am I? Okay, this is the Deputy Prime Minister of Canada and her statements on television yesterday to the Freedom Truckers, the Freedom Convoy.
This is about following the money. This is about stopping the financing of these illegal blockades. We are today serving notice. If your truck is being used in these illegal blockades, your corporate accounts will be frozen.
When have you heard, like I say, this is what they do to drug cartels. When they find their money in some Cayman or Swiss bank, they freeze it, they take it. Or the Iranians. Except Biden and Obama gave the Iranians all their money back with interest. So if you're taking part in the Freedom Trucker Convoy protest, they're going to freeze your bank account, freeze you out. But that's not all.
The insurance on your vehicle will be suspended. Send your semi-trailers home. The Canadian economy needs them to be doing legitimate work, not to be illegally making us all poorer.
Okay, yeah. So, pretty serious stuff there. Now, the federal government, like in our country, they have control over banks, so they're using the powers of the federal government. But you've been hearing about crowdfunding. These crowdfunding accounts being seized, the money being cut off. Well, Canada, this is the same talk on television that the Deputy Prime Minister gave yesterday. They got a new law now, and to deal with those who are using crowdfunding and donating money to the truckers and the truckers involved in receiving crowdfunding money. Listen.
We are broadening the scope of Canada's anti-money laundering and terrorist financing rules so that they cover crowdfunding platforms and the payment service providers they use.
Wow. So if you are using crowdfunding with the Freedom Convoy, on either side of it, I guess, you're involved, according to the Deputy Prime Minister of Canada, money laundering and terrorism. So that's declaring the Freedom Convoy terrorist. And she didn't even say domestic. They're just terrorists, like ISIS. Now, if the truckers were cutting people's heads off like ISIS, if they were hanging people from Black Hawk helicopters like Al-Qaeda over Kabul, okay. But all I'm seeing are a bunch of people trying to keep warm, carrying maple leaf flags. All right, 1-888-GO-CANE-1's the number. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. It's Rich, truck driver from New Jersey.
All right, truck driver from New Jersey. What's up?
Check this out. Two things. One, well, you just mentioned it, actually. They're going after people who are just donating to the fund, which, is wrong. Two, here's a simple solution to this, and there's no need for any blockades. There's no need for any protest. All truck drivers, just stay home. That's all you have to do. For us to protest, that's all we have to do.
Oh, you're talking about a strike, a trucker strike?
Yep, just stay home. You don't have to worry about your truck being impounded. You don't have to worry about any fines. You don't have to worry about getting arrested. Just.
Are you talking about in Canada or in the United States?
Both.
And what do you think would what would if there was a truckers strike, what do you think in America, in the United States, what do you think the Biden Mayor Pete response would be? Because remember, Mayor Pete's Secretary of Transportation, he'd be involved. What do you think Biden and Mayor Pete's reaction would be to a truck driver strike over this?
Honestly, I don't care what their reaction would be. Because we go on strike, this country shuts down. Nothing gets transported without trucks.
That's right.
Transport shit by train. You can transport stuff by train, but
Well, when something, like here in South Florida, right? We're on the coast, I'm on the peninsula of Florida. Right down the street is the busiest port in Florida, by the way, Port Everglades. Cargo ship comes in with containers. If you haven't noticed, the cargo containers are the size of a semi-tractor trailer. They got to go on the semi-tractor trailer before they go to the train. A lot of people don't know that.
they have to go on a truck after they come off the boat.
Correct.
They come off the train. So and this is what I said, because you see all these people, all these truckers in Canada are getting in, they're going to start getting in trouble. They're going to start losing their insurance, their trucks and all that. If they just stay home, the same thing happens, except they don't get in any trouble for it.
Well, at the start of the pandemic, truck drivers were one of the groups that were being called heroes because with no treatments, there were no treatments. There was just, this is the early days of the pandemic. The truck drivers didn't stay home. They kept working and kept the supply chain going. And we had, there was some panic buying the first 2 weeks, and there was the great toilet paper shortage and things like that for a week or two. But after that, the truck drivers kept the supply chain going. There were no problems, no shortages, nothing. Now these heroes of the pandemic were being told are, according to the Canadians, domestic terrorists and money launderers now.
Well, in case you haven't noticed, that anybody who was a hero in the beginning of this pandemic is now the villain.
Oh, the nurses? First they came for the nurses, then and now they're coming for the truckers?
We were the heroes last year. This year we're the villains.
Well, you got to, because you're not bending a knee. You got to bend a knee.
Exactly. So that's why I said
All right. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call, though. Trucker from New Jersey. All right. Yeah, go ahead. You're still on. Oh, yeah, you got to watch your mouth. You got to watch that truck driver mouth. He said, he was still on. I hit the dump button. He said, OF. He had one more thing to say. Well, he is a truck driver, so it makes sense that he's got a truck driver mouth. You were still on. I didn't cut you off. I was about to say goodbye. That's okay. That's okay. You can call back if it's that important, and the delay is building back up already. If you're listening on the radio, what you were listening to was 40 seconds ago. It's like I'm like a time traveler. You're listening to me 40 seconds ago. If you're listening on iHeartRadio or the TuneIn app, Depending on the day, it can be as long as 90 seconds. And if you're watching on the YouTube live stream, there's even about a 10 or 20 second delay there as well. So I'm like, I am always in the future from everyone who's hearing my voice, no matter where you're listening and what platform you're listening to me on or watching me. I'm in the future. I'm in your future right now. Yes. Isn't that something? That's right. All right, 1-888-COCAINE-1 is our number. 1-888-465-2631. You know, at the very end of yesterday's show, I played a soundbite that I don't usually play soundbites after. I play them on a day, and that's it. I don't play them again. But this one, it fits into the theme, so I'm going to play this. I played this right at the end of yesterday's program. This was just a shocking happening. A woman in Canada, she gets a knock at her door, and it's a lady police officer. And this is in Canada. And the reason that a police officer came to her home is because she had commented on a Facebook post about the Freedom Convoy. She doesn't moderate a Facebook group. She didn't even post a comment on her own or post an article. Something came up in her feed about the Freedom Truckers. She commented on it. The police were monitoring, and they sent a police officer to her front door to, I believe, intimidate her. Listen, this is, and she recorded this on her cell phone. Listen to this.
Sorry, since you're at my home, can I just get your name and your badge number, please?
I have a card here.
Okay.
It's Erica Ingram.
Thank you.
And this is just some information about peaceful protests. That's all it is.
Okay, so you saw something on my Facebook?
No, on the Facebook group.
Okay. And decided to come to my personal residence to give me information about peaceful protest?
Yes.
Okay, so are the Peterborough Police, no, you're with OPP? Are you guys now monitoring people's Facebook pages? Or Facebook groups to who comments as to what their status updates are, or what they're doing, or so within the group?
Just
like,
because of the protests happening province-wide, yes, we have been monitoring the protests.
Okay.
So there's a protest coming up. I'm simply providing you with information about a peaceful protest, and now I'm leaving.
Oh, okay.
That is all.
So the Ontario Provincial Police are watching what people are doing on Facebook in different groups, whether or not they're commenting, participating, liking, and you guys are now doing service calls to give people information about peaceful protest.
It's just a proactive measure to make sure you understand your rights about peaceful protesting.
I have a copy of the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, so I'm well within that and very understanding of that. I appreciate that. I'm hoping that you guys aren't going to waste our tax dollars continuing to do this to everybody, but now it's nice to know that we're being watched. So.
If you have any questions, my cell phone number is on the card.
Thank you.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah, I know. It's pretty frightening. And, you know, she gave her this pamphlet. It was like a card on how to peacefully protest. That's not why she came to her front door. She didn't come to the front door to give her a pamphlet on how to peacefully protest. The police officer was sent to her door, knocked on it, and spoke to her to let her know, Big Brother is watching you. George Orwell, 1984. Big Brother is watching you. That's what that was about. That is textbook intimidation by the government. She was an armed police officer. That's what that was all about. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. We're going to take our first break of the second hour. 19 minutes after the hour, I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. On the radio since 1977. That's right. We'll take that break and be right back after this.
Good morning, you're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Stacy from Deerfield Beach. This is in reference
Steve Kane Show. There's you.
I have a Kia Optima Echo Hybrid.
If you're new here, make sure you subscribe, and everyone, please like the video. Liking the video helps a lot. Yeah, they've been pushing the media out. You know, they're getting rough not just on the truckers, but also on members of the media.
was when I brought it to the dealership, they were like, well, we want to do this, we want to do that. And when I heard about Champagne Automotive, I called when I got there, and I said, he goes, well, I already ordered the oil filter. Wow. Oh, my goodness. And so I dropped it off.
Oh, boy, I tell you.
People to take me back home. And so he ordered Uber for me.
Wow.
Yes.
That's service. Thank you for the call as well. And anyone else out there, Champagne Automotive Repair, the prices are great. They'll never do a repair on your vehicle that your vehicle doesn't need. Their number is 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101. And what's your name, caller?
My name is Stacy, and thank you very much, Champagne Automotive, and thank you very much, Brian and Steve.
For Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca, 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101.
Traveling, you need a COVID test? Maybe you need a COVID test for work or school. Stop by Any Lab Test Now of Boca or Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. They offer all the COVID testing panels you need at the lowest prices, including the antibody test. Results in 15 minutes. Any Lab Test Now of Boca is located in the Sandalwood Plaza, where Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsborough on the east side of 441 State Road 7. Call 561-237-5009. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner.
All right, we're coming back, guys.
Near the Coral Square Mall in Coral Springs. Call 954-906-5983. Make sure to tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
All right, 22 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. 1-888-GO-KANE 1-888-465-2631. He's not a truck driver. He's a bus driver, but he has some solidarity with him, I'm imagining. Richie the bus driver. Hey, what's up?
Good morning. You're in the future. Yesterday I was so far in the past I couldn't believe it.
Yes.
I was agreeing with you, but you never let me get around.
Oh, well, it's a new day.
It's a new day. It's a new day, and here we are comparing Canada, okay, which has 38.5 million people with truck drivers, and they're taking their rights completely away. 300 people are doing this to 38.5 million.
Mm-hmm.
And in the United States, which is worse, spying on a sitting president elected by 75 million people, spying on him for 4 years. This, you know what it reminds me? And the biggest carp of all, it's not even being televised on any of the major news stations, which tells you a lot about the freedom of the press, huh?
Yeah, in fact, when we're talking about this Durham report, which I've got some updates on, we're going to get into, but Mediaite, which is this is how they reported it. They were talking about Jesse Waters last night. This is their headline, Mediaite.com. Jesse Waters makes wildly unfounded claim that Hillary paid hackers to plant evidence on Trump. Jesse Waters isn't making that claim. John Durham has charged Hillary Clinton's attorney for doing that, and he says he did it to get the money from Hillary because Hillary paid him to do it. It's John Durham, not Jesse Waters is talking about the claim made by John Durham. That's how. So that they're gonna. So this is what This is what the media's reaction is. It took them. They had to get over the Super Bowl first. The reaction is villainize the messengers.
Yeah, cover up once again. An arm of the Democratic Party. What I was going to say to you yesterday, I think this goes far beyond the Hillary campaign. The Democratic National Committee knew about this. President Obama definitely. If you're going to go into computers, don't you think President Obama knew about this? I'm sure Biden knew about this. And the guy who's now he's in charge of Biden's national security, Jake, whatever his name is, he was involved the day before, and they're still in government. We are. You start to look at Canada, and then you look at the United States. We're in a worse situation.
Yeah, and I know they're trying to say statute of limitations. Now, again, Mark Levin's the lawyer. I'm not a lawyer, but I do not believe there is a statute of limitation on treason, espionage, and a coup.
In this country right now, and we're being once again, I say to myself, the truck drivers are losing a lot of their freedoms the President of the United States lost his freedom to communicate with the people.
Well, this what happened, what they did with the Durham probe, the information that came out from Durham's charges on Friday, do not let them convince you anything other than it was new news big time. And the new news that no one knew, don't buy, oh, we knew this in June, we knew it in March. No, that the spy operation continued while Trump was president, and they were spying on the West Wing Oval Office computer servers and computers. That is brand new information. Don't let them convince you of anything different.
How long did we think it was coming out of his cabinet that leaks were coming out? I bet you it was coming out right on the computer.
That's correct. And I'll tell you,
I don't know about the bugging, but they were listening into those computers.
Well, a lot of people put tape over the camera on their monitors and things like that. Computers and things can listen to you, hear you.
This is unbelievable. You know what it's like? It's like if you and your wife went to Disney World and went into a hotel, and then somebody was on a two-way mirror watching everything you're doing in the bedroom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but this was now it may have been used like a bedroom when Clinton was president with Lewinsky, but we're talking about the Oval Office here. I mean, they went to a new level that no one imagined they went to, hacking into the Oval Office West Wing computers while Trump was in office. That's a whole nother level that we did not know about. No one even suspected that.
But it's not even just the President of the United States. It's all the top secrets of this government. It goes to the military. It goes to the secrets. And
they were coordinating with an unnamed university to analyze the data, and everyone knows that the universities are overrun by Chinese, liberals, but Chinese, Iranians, and other enemies of this country have infiltrated our university systems. So, these enemy states and intelligence agencies may very well have had eyes and ears, courtesy of Hillary Clinton and her campaign, into the Oval Office.
Well, it proves to me one thing. Even Republicans, I believe, were involved in this.
Oh, yes.
I believe this is all about...
Well, don't forget, Comey's a Republican.
Oh, yeah.
Don't forget, people assume he's a Democrat. Comey and Mueller are Republicans.
They hated President Trump from the moment. I was watching last night, I think it was Kelly, when he got up, the moment he spoke, when he was sworn in, and said, now a few people here have made money, basically, and the rest of but the people have been forgotten, but they're not going to be forgotten anymore. That was when they started going after him, I believe, before with Hillary. But I believe that the framing, how much money do we spend on all these special prosecutors and impeachments that they knew were phony, but they try to muddy his character.
And think about this: on top of all the investigations, they were monitoring the computers and everything while Trump was president in the White House, and still they couldn't find anything on Trump. That's how squeaky clean of a Marine that he is.
But they knew, but they leaked everything every day to make him look bad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and the guy that's sitting there now, they don't leak anything.
And I'm telling you, there are going to be major arrests with this. They're going to be major. This is nothing like we've dealt with before. We have moved to a Rosenberg era spy operation here.
Well, I got to say, the last thing I'm going to say is if they can break into a government computer, a White House computer, through the server, you don't think they could get into?
Well, they had a spy, Richie. They did this. Excuse me, my throat's very dry today. They did this. The lawyer, the Clinton lawyer, Sussman, was working with the tech executive. The tech executive's company had a government contract to do work on the West Wing computers, and so they had a spy who was working for a tech company doing espionage work inside the West Wing. This is not speculation. This is in the Durham charges against Sussman. That's John Durham and his charges in the court that went through a grand jury process.
You have a man who they've cut his bank account off. They've cut his retailers off. the great Mike Lindell.
Yeah, I'm going to get into that in a little bit because I got something new on that. I got to run for a break, though, Richie. Take care. Sorry I was so short yesterday. I was moody. Take care. All right, we'll take our break for the bottom of the hour, and I'm going to move on to some other topics, but yeah, there are some more on the truckers I'll get to later. You're still welcome to call in about the truckers, but there are a few other things that I do have to touch on that are of major, major importance. My name is Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977. We'll be right back.
Got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Hello, Lindell, and I'm excited to announce my new product.
Jacqueline, $20 super sticker. Thank you so much, Jacqueline. Everyone, please thank Jacqueline for that $20 super sticker. I like the super stickers. They're pretty creative. Steve Kane Show. Hey. Oh, what am I going to get into next? Because I got so much I got to get into.
They also do tire repairs. Listen to one of our listeners talk about their experience at
Let's see.
Tire in Margate.
Hey Brian, my name is Mike. Just wanted to call and say thank you. I had a problem
Oh, yes.
with my car. I had the flat tire was going down really quick. I'm in Coral Springs. I had to go somewhere close by. They couldn't really fix it. So I remember you guys are talking about Friendly Mike and Friendly Tires. So I said, listen, Mike, I need a couple of tires. I told him I thought, he goes, I got them. I go, I'll see you tomorrow. They were really cheap. I go over there, and Mike said, which tires do you want to replace? They look relatively new. I said, they are. I just got a big hole in that one. And they said they couldn't be fixed. He goes, pull your vehicle in. I pulled the vehicle in. He took the tire off. He pulled out the plug that the guy in Coral Springs put in there, and he
If you're new, make sure you subscribe, please. And everyone like the video. That helps a lot. And if you don't mind, click the notification bell too. But subscribing and liking, that helps me a lot, guys.
Give Mike at Friendly Tire a call right now. We'll give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Don't waste time going anywhere else. You will never find prices as low as Friendly Tire in Margate.
All right, we're coming back.
Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search.
All right, welcome back. 34 minutes after the hour. If you're on hold, stand by. Your calls most definitely are welcome. Call us toll-free no matter where you're listening to us at. The number 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's 888-GO-KANE and the number 1. And numerically, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Now, last night on Greg Kelly, I caught this morning before I came into the radio station. Did you see Kash Patel on Greg Kelly last night on Newsmax TV? Now, Kash Patel, he was chief of staff to the defense secretary under President Trump. He worked at the United States National Security Council. He's an insider. He's a Republican, but he's an insider. And Greg Kelly had Kash Patel on last night talking about the Durham report and what Durham has been up to and what's coming. Listen to this. Kash Patel, Greg Kelly. See what happened? I missed Greg Kelly one night, and just every segment was breaking news. This is Kash Patel from Greg Kelly last night on Newsmax TV.
John Durham has interviewed 24 people in the grand jury, to include CIA case officers, FBI agents and directors, leadership in the Clinton campaign cycle, and they've indicted her lawyer. So this is just starting. It's how you build a criminal conspiracy case, and they're not going to be able to ignore indictments once they start coming in full swing. Now, we have to be right. It has to start somewhere. You cannot go on and infiltrate the White House servers and the White House internet by just doing it from the top. You have to have a team. And Michael Sussman and Mark Elias were the lead attorneys for the Hillary Clinton campaign, who were paid millions and millions of dollars to perpetuate the Steele dossier fraud. And now we know they were paid millions and millions of dollars to go out and buy false information from a tech executive. And then here's the worst part. They secured a, quote, sensitive arrangement with someone in government to gain access to the White House servers. That means someone in government gave them permission and paid the contracting tech executive company's firm to allow that work to happen. That can only have been done with the utilization of the intelligence community willingly. And that, to me, is the biggest criminal scandal that we have yet to talk about. He's going to deliver. Of course, everybody gets frustrated. As a former federal prosecutor who brought international terrorism cases that were pretty complex, this guy's unraveling the biggest criminal conspiracy against the sitting president in the United States history. It's going to happen. Just give the guy a few more months. It's coming.
Wow, and Kash Patel's in the know. He knows everything that's going on. And they've interviewed a couple of dozen intelligence officials. And what Kash Patel is saying is that Durham, see, this is amazing. The plumbers from Watergate, right, led by G. Gordon Liddy. This Sussman is the G. Gordon Liddy of this. What do we call this gate? Is this Russia Gate still? Are we with this Durham report? I guess it's Russia Gate. But Sussman's the G. Gordon Liddy of that. And now again, I was a baby when that happened. I only know I've seen All the President's Men too many times. I did read the book All the President's Men, which is a very good book, actually. But anyway, Liddy, didn't Liddy hire the other plumbers for the break-in? And so what Kash Patel told Greg Kelly last night on Newsmax TV is that Sussman was hired people and brought in a team, an espionage team committing espionage against the sitting president of the United States. What possessed them to go to that level, I will not understand. But that's when they went way, way over the line. And he knows the exact number of, and what agencies they're from, of people that have been brought before the grand jury and questioned. That means there's a whole buzz in Washington about this, that the media have been covering up. This is amazing what's going on here. So yesterday at the White House press briefing, coincidentally, Jen Psaki took the day off because obviously she didn't want to take the heat from the Durham report, and she had her number two, whose name I don't know, who is the African-American press secretary, deputy press secretary. Since Jen Psaki didn't want to deal with the heat, she sent out her assistant. And her assistant, if you was dodging Durham questions, I'm going to play the audio here, but if you go online and watch it, that portion of it, the deputy press secretary, she looked physically ill. If it was Jen Psaki, who's very pasty white, she would have been green. But she took the day off because she's like, I'm not dealing with it. You do it today. You do the press briefing today. And she looked physically ill and terrified. And she was asked some very simple questions that she would not answer. So listen to this. This is the White House press briefing yesterday. And I don't know the girl's name. Do you guys know her name? You know who I'm talking about. Is this, okay, we're trying to also figure out, this is Spygate we're in. Okay, I want to make sure we're in the right gates. We got to make sure we're in the right gate. So we're in Spygate, okay, with this Durham revelation. Okay, so you're going to hear a reporter with the deputy White House press secretary yesterday dodging questions. Listen to this.
Now, then the second topic, this news about the Durham investigation. Does the president have any concerns about a candidate for president?
Oh, yeah, somebody just told me, yes, that's her name. Jean Perret, is that her name? Call in and let me know. You guys know who she is.
Now, on the second topic, this news about the Durham investigation. Does the president have any concerns about a candidate for president using computer experts to infiltrate computer systems of competing candidates, or even the president-elect to use for the goal of creating a narrative? Is that something that's something I can't speak to from this podium? So
Okay, now the reporter just asked, does the president have any comment? Does he think it's a wrong thing to do for people to spy on the sitting presidents of the United States and the president-elects? So now we got some new information. This reporter knows, whoever they are, this is probably the Fox reporter who was filling in for Ducey, that they were spying at Trump Tower while President Trump was president-elect and continued in the White House when he was president. Aren't those separate crimes?
The president-elect to use for the goal of creating a narrative. Is that something I can't speak to from this podium? So I refer you to the Department of Justice. Is what been described in that report monitoring internet traffic? Is that spying? Again, I can't speak to that report. I refer you to the Department of Justice. Generally speaking, with monitoring internet traffic. Trying to give my answer a second to change. I refer you to the Department of Justice. I can't speak to that from here. Okay.
Yeah, Jean-Pierre there, she did not like, oh man, she's like, Jen Psaki screwed me. She'll be the next resignation. Would you want to have to go out and dodge that all day? Oh man. You should see the body language on the press secretary yesterday. Answered all the questions. They're like, oh, we're screwed. What are we going to do here? All right, 1-888-GO-KANE 1. 1-888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call. I want to hear your thoughts on everything we've brought up so far today on the program. Brought up a lot of pretty hot topics, as they say on The View. Oh, Whoopi's back on The View. Did anyone notice? Did anyone care? Had you forgotten she wasn't on The View because, like me, you never watched The View? Whoopi came back yesterday with some big announcement and pronouncement, and, you know, if a tree falls in the woods, no one's there to hear it. Does it make a sound? The same could be said of Whoopi on The View yesterday. But anyway, this Durham report is not going anywhere. This is as Kash Patel said, this is the largest political scandal of our time, perhaps in the history of the United States. And them going that extra level and spying on the White House computers and putting together this team. These people are facing major treason and espionage charges. Do you think these people are going to say, I'm a ready for Hillary guy. I'm going to do the rest of my life in that Supermax solitary confinement cell next to the Unabomber? I don't think so. And there are a lot of people that are pretty terrified by all of this. And they should be, because they got caught. They got caught, and justice is coming. Oh, man. But it is nice, though. It is nice to watch the White House press briefing get asked questions like this. You don't have to go to the Justice Department to get an answer as to whether or not you're opposed to a crime. Are you opposed to computer hacking? You have to go to the Justice Department. I don't have an opinion on that. How do you not have an opinion? It's an illegal thing. No, you got to go to the Justice Department. They handle crime. Oh, boy. Oh, man. These Democrat press secretaries deal with something Republican secretaries never have to worry about. You don't see Republican press secretaries going out there physically ill, terrified of questions. Republicans, they're up there, boom. These Democrat press secretaries, it's so bad they got to take a day off, like Psaki yesterday. They have these physical things like this girl did yesterday, where she's just like squirming. She was looking down. Her head was sideways. She was terrified. She didn't even hear. She was speaking softly, not her normal arrogance that she has. It wasn't supposed to be this way. Well, you're the spokesperson for a crime syndicate. And the left after Watergate, because remember, Nixon was not involved in the break-in. What did Nixon do? He tried to cover it up, right? And what did they always say? It's not the crime that gets you in trouble. It's always the cover-up. And that's a catchphrase that the left began because they wanted to stick it to Nixon. But they said it's not the crime that gets you in trouble. It's the cover-up's much worse. So the Sunday shows didn't mention this. The media, the White House, the media are involved in a cover-up, which they say is the worst thing. That's what gets you. They're all involved in a cover-up of the Durham story. So by their Nixon standard, they're doing worse than the original Spygate because they're involved in a cover-up and they're not hiding from it. Now, like Kash Patel said, they'll be able to put this off for a day or two, but they are going to be forced into discussing it. And what Kash Patel said, we already see it, Mediaite attacking Jesse. What the media are going to do as opposed to deal with the story, they're going to try to villainize anyone who's reporting on the Durham report and anyone who's talking about it. They're going to villainize the messenger, whoever that messenger may be on that particular day, and try to discount them. All right, we're going to take our last break of the second hour of the program. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. My name's Brian Craig. We'll be back right after this.
Brian Craig here. You've heard Steve Kane talk about the great job Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting did on his new roof. We have on the line John from Wellington, one of our regular callers. He just had his roof repaired by Laporta Contracting, and he wanted to share his experience.
Thanks to the Steve Kane Show, my roof repairs were just completed by Laporta Contractors. They were fast, professional, and the cost of the repairs was very reasonable. I had 4 sections of roof repaired, and upon initial inspection, they were honest and told me that my roof was good and I didn't need a new one. I called many roofers, and they were all scammers. They all wanted to put on a new roof, and they said they wouldn't repair what I had. Thanks, Brian. Another fantastic sponsor.
Wow, that's an amazing testimonial from John in Wellington. Tom Laporta at Laporta Contracting will never sell you a roof that you don't need. Give him a call for a no-charge inspection of your roof. 954-604-4602. That number rings directly to Tom Laporta's cell phone. 954-604-4602. And online, LaportaContracting.com.
Dr. Matez here from the Biostation West Delray. Many of you are familiar with the famous erection injection, an extremely effective treatment for erectile dysfunction made popular right here on the Steve Kane Show. I'm here to tell you that the erection injection is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the extensive array of treatment options.
Make sure you guys like the video if you don't mind. Those of you that are new, please subscribe.
Combinations and dosages that increase the efficacy of Viagra and Cialis greatly. We also offer treatments that can correct the problem at its source, such as PRP and sound wave pulse therapies that restore your natural function. State-of-the-art testing.
Oh, man.
Treatment options all available in one place, the Biostation West Delray. If you want to correct your erectile problems once and for all, call us at 561-320-8893. That's 561-320-8893.
All righty, we are back. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. 48 minutes after the hour, Steve Kane will be back from Super Bowl Super Bowl whatever. Yesterday's like a national holiday. How many of you didn't go to work yesterday? I went in late or hungover. I didn't watch 1 second of the Super Bowl, and I don't care. I don't care. All right, so this story against the great and wonderful Sarah Palin is just disgusting. You know, when that Gabby Gifford shooting happened, within 45 minutes, because I was watching that terrible event. By the way, the Gabby Gifford shooter, do you know what stopped him from shooting more people? He killed some people, including a child. If I remember correctly. You know what stopped him? A concealed weapons permit holder. There was a guy there, that's right, with a concealed weapon. He was inside one of the stores in that strip mall. He heard the shooting. He went out and stopped it. Did not even use his weapon, but having the concealed weapon permit gave him the courage. They leave that out of the narrative. But anyway, it was less than an hour because I was watching the event live on the news, as many of you were. Within 45 minutes, Sarah Palin was being blamed for the shooting of Gabby Giffords. Sarah Palin, her Sarah PAC was doing what Trump is doing right now. She was going around the country endorsing candidates. and there were certain districts she was focused on, and she had a thing on her website. Well, these are the districts and the candidates we're targeting with my endorsed candidate. And one of those was Gabby Giffords. So because she used a common expression, like right now I'm on target to take the next break on time, right? People use that all the time. Because she used targeting in that, they blamed her for the shooting inspiring it. Remember that? So she, it's been many years, and she sued the New York Times for libel. The judge tossed out the case while the jury was in deliberations. Of course, this is a Clinton judge appointed by Clinton. Didn't even let the jury come back with a verdict. Here's the Daily Mail. Sarah Palin's libel case against the New York Times will be dismissed after the jury determines a verdict. It doesn't matter. Multiple attorneys have said that the U.S. District Court judge made the wrong call in throwing the case out before the jury returned. He made the ruling while the jury was in deliberations. He said Sarah Palin hadn't proven the New York Times actually had actual malice against her. Palin sued the newspaper for a 2017 editorial for incorrectly linking her to the mass shooting 6 years earlier that wounded Congresswoman Gabby Giffords. Palin said that if she lost at trial, her appeal might challenge New York Times versus Sullivan's decision that established actual malice. She would expect to go to appeal this to the appellate court and all the way to the Supreme Court if she has to. But what was this judge afraid of? What was he afraid of? I don't, this is just, this is the difference between a conservative and a liberal judge. A lot of times you'll hear people say, whenever, like this Supreme Court thing that's coming up, and you'll hear a lot of discussion about this then. Conservative justices and judges that are appointed to the federal court, you hear a lot about strict constitutionalists. And what that means is a conservative judge like Scalia and good conservative judges, they make a ruling based on what the Constitution says, not what their own personal feeling is on an issue or their personal bias on an issue. Liberal judges are called activist judges who legislate from the bench. So an activist judge, because these federal judges are all appointed by presidents, an activist judge rules based on how they just want things to be, how they personally believe. It doesn't matter about the Constitution. They'll tell you that doesn't even apply. It was written a long time ago by a bunch of white guys for the benefits of maintaining white supremacy, so it's out of date anyway. And this is a textbook example of that. Sarah Palin probably knew she was doomed as soon as the case was brought before a Clinton-appointed judge. But she's a fighter. She'll continue. The left are all about in this world. We got to expand it to the world now because of what's going on in Canada. Pretty disgusting stuff, And Sarah Palin, on a similar level, on a lesser level, but it was kind of up there. Sarah Palin was harassed just like President Trump. And remember there was that. Reporter. There was this creepy reporter that rented the house. This was after the election in 2008. Rented the house next to Sarah Palin's house in Alaska, and would stare at them and watch them and photograph them all day out of his window. And his window faced her, at the time, teenage daughter's window. So her and Todd were still married, and he got together with his friends. They went to the Home Depot and bought some fencing and put up a privacy fence to block it. Remember that? And she resigned as governor, which I wish she would not have done. But the Democrats in Alaska were just harassing her with investigations like they did with President Trump. She caved, she resigned, she shouldn't have done that. And that's probably why President Trump never really gave her a job, because she quit when she was facing it, maybe. Or maybe it was just she acted so strange at that one Trump rally where she had the tassel-y shirt. I don't know. But I like Sarah Palin. I'm a huge fan of Sarah Palin. And the left just could not handle Sarah Palin. They were terrified of her, and they're still attacking her. But she's not done with this. And what the New York Times and the rest of the media did by blaming Sarah Palin for the Gabby Giffords shooting was disgusting. Disgusting. And she was libeled. in that instance. All right, let's go to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Conservative Doug.
Oh, yes, Doug. How are you?
Okay, great. Well,
Steve Kane Show.
About these judges,
Oh, hey, Janet.
Everybody should remember what this judge is doing and make sure they vote Republican.
That's right.
And unbelievable, man. You know, and then how stupid were these people that spying on the President of the United States?
Well, I don't know. I'll tell you about Sarah Palin's lawyers. I mean, I don't know why they filed this case in New York. I mean, could they have taken it to a federal court somewhere else in the country where maybe there were some Trump judges or something? When they go to if they go to the appellate court, I hope they find one that has some Trump judges on it. You know what I mean? Because if you get another Clinton judge or an Obama judge or maybe even a Biden judge, they have those now. They're doomed. Hey, listen, thanks for the call, but I got to check in with Janet Cimarelli with the Morning Health Report. Janet Cimarelli from AJ's Natural Wellness Shop in the Festival Marketplace in Pompano. Good morning, Janet Cimarelli.
Good morning, Brian and Craig, and I just have some of the rundown about what's going to be happening at AJ's. There's so much going on. Jen is going to be at AJ's Natural Wellness Shop on Saturday, and she's going to be talking about crystal healing. And in case there's anybody out there who rolled their eyes and said, oh, well, crystals have a frequency, and we know that our bodies have frequencies. Our brain has a certain frequency, our heart has a different frequency, and when you learn to work with crystals, as Jen is able to teach people, you are able to enhance the frequency of certain areas of your body or reduce the frequency if something is working harder than it should. And then coming up, that's on Saturday the 19th, and coming up on Sunday the 20th. So it's a busy, busy weekend at AJ's, is Deborah. Now, Deborah has been doing natural teeth whitening for years and years and years, and has all of the information that people might be concerned about or want to learn about. You know, are there dangerous chemicals involved? Am I going to do damage to my teeth by keeping them white? And she will be joining me on Friday at Health Matters show, 10 o'clock on Friday morning, to explain all of the information about the chemicals involved, the substances involved with.
Well, that's on Friday's show. Now, today's Tuesday. Janet Cimarelli's radio show is every Tuesday and Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, on all of our radio stations. You can also catch it on the iHeartRadio app. Any way that you listen to this program, you can listen to Janet Cimarelli's show on Tuesdays and Fridays at 10 a.m. Now, AJ's Natural Wellness Shop in the Festival Marketplace ships anywhere. So if you can't make it into the festival, maybe you're out of town, out of state, or maybe you're just in another part of town and you don't drive, or it's just a long drive for you, you don't have to physically go in. That's always best, but if you can't, they will ship to you. And if you want to order from AJ's Natural Wellness Shop at the festival and you can't make it in, here's the number, 954-317-1851. 954-317-1851. But if you want to stop in, AJ's Natural Wellness Shop is located in the Festival Marketplace. The Festival Marketplace is just east of the Turnpike on the south side of Sample Road in Pompano. When you go into the festival, head back towards the food court. Right before the food court, look west, you'll see an information booth. That's where AJ's is, right in front of that information booth. All right, Janet, we'll touch base tomorrow.
We will. Have a wonderful day.
All right, take care. We'll be right back with the third and final hour of today's Steve Kane Show. Steve joining us in just a bit, too. We'll be right back.
You covered AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network, WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Traveling and need a COVID test? Maybe you need a COVID test for work or school. Stop by Any Lab Test Now of Boca or Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. They offer all the COVID testing panels you need at the lowest prices, including the antibody test. Results in 15 minutes. Any lab test now of Vogue is located in the Sandalwood Plaza, where Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsborough on the east side of 441 State Road 7. Call 561-237-5009. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University Drive in Ramblewood, near the Coral Square Mall in Coral Springs. Call 954-906-5983. Make sure to tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I can get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll-free, dial 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's 1-888-GO-KANE-1. And now, here's Steve Kane.
Welcome back. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Hour number 3 has begun. All right. If you're just tuning in, you missed a lot. And I just want to do a recap on one thing, and then huge stuff came through with Mike Lindell yesterday. Hold on, I'm just answering an email from a listener. I shouldn't be doing this during the show, but I'm doing it. Okay, it's done. I was in the middle of it during the break. I thought I had enough time, but didn't have enough time to say thanks, Brian, at the end. All right, welcome back. Steve will be joining us after the next break. Okay, so I started the show talking about there's martial law has been declared by the Prime Minister of Canada and because of the Freedom Truckers, quite specifically. And the Deputy Prime Minister came out and talked about some new measures that they're using against the truckers involving their financing. I wanted to play this for you, and then we'll get into the Mike Lindell updates. Listen, now this is the Deputy Prime Minister of Canada, and they passed some new laws against the Freedom Truckers. Listen.
This is about following the money. This is about stopping the financing of these illegal blockades. We are today serving notice. If your truck is being used in these illegal blockades, your corporate accounts will be frozen.
Okay, so they're going to freeze bank accounts in Canada of truckers.
We are broadening the scope of Canada's anti-money laundering and terrorist financing rules so that they cover crowdfunding platforms and the payment service providers they use.
Okay, so I mean, this is this is insane what is going on here. Yeah, I mean, if you're involved in crowdfunding support or they're receiving a crowd, and people put up crowdfunding. If you go on any of the crowdfunding sites, if you've ever scrolled through them, most of it is like fraud, right? Somebody will put up a thing, I need a heart transplant, kid needs a heart transplant. It's ridiculous. And it's most of what you see on crowdfunding is just complete frauds, people looking for sympathy for a money grab. You guys have seen this. And they don't seem to give a damn, right? But now all of a sudden they do. So in Canada, they've now said crowdfunding support is money laundering, you're supporting terrorism, they're going to freeze your bank accounts. Well, we were talking a few weeks back about Mike Lindell and one of his banks that he does frank speech with, as well as he has 9 accounts at this particular bank in Minnesota, including his charity that does ministry to those looking for help with drug and alcohol addiction and many others. And the bank told him that they were going to close out his accounts or else. Well, they finally have done it, and let me pull this up. Let me see here. This is Mike Lindell yesterday was speaking out. He had gotten a letter from his bank warning him that it was about to happen, and they gave him the time frame. Let's see here. Here's Mike Lindell with the bank letter.
Well, I just got served the papers. They're closing my account.
Steve Kane Show.
Minnesota Bank and Trust. That's Heartland
Hold on.
Financial. Inc. Remember, we brought it up a couple weeks ago, and all of you reached out to those to the bank president stuff at Minnesota Bank and Trust, and I hadn't heard from. Well, the cowards served this paper on Friday afternoon after the close of business day. They didn't even bother to sign it. It says...
Yeah, now they didn't sign the letter because they don't want someone's name on it that people can call or protest.
This paper on Friday afternoon after the close of business day, they didn't even bother to sign it. It says, respectfully, Minnesota Bank and Trust. Then it puts in here, should the account schedule be closed with a negative balance on February 18th, a report will be submitted to check systems. In other words, Steve, now they're worried that the account, when I pull my money out before they shut the thing down, they're shutting it down on the 18th, and they said they'll mail any balances, but I suppose they're worried that it would go negative, that there'd be a negative. But what cowards? They're just cowards. Unreal. This is what it's come to, where banks cancel because and here's their reason. Based on a compliance review. Remember, 2 weeks ago they said it was because they didn't want to be in the public eye, because Mike Lindell's in the public eye. Well, I've had the Lindell Recovery Network, the Lindell Foundation, Lindell Outreach. I've had these with this bank for years. And what changed? We had a Lindell TV in Frank's Beach about 9 months ago. Well, as we get right over target, everybody, and that reach goes out there, which we have been, it's like, how can we stop Mike Lindell from getting the word out?
Okay, yeah, so it's happened. So, it's happened now. That was Mike Lindell speaking yesterday about the bank. So the left, they're doing this in Canada. They're freezing bank accounts, taking your crowdfunding money. In this country, they are activating against Mike Lindell doing the exact same thing. This is how governments respond to drug cartels and terror organizations. Not peaceful political protesters. I've never seen anything like this before. They're going after people's bank accounts. They did do this to Michael Flynn. They did do this to Laura Loomer. But now they're going more mainstream and more high profile and bragging about it. Like those were tests. This is a new tactic of the left. All right, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Well, I'm in Florida, but I'm from Albany, New York.
Okay.
Is this Brian?
It is Brian.
Are we on the air?
Yes, we are on the air.
All right. Brian, I've been a broadcaster for 60 years. I've part-owned 18 radio stations.
Wow.
I have in Virginia, in New York, Pennsylvania, and in Florida, in St. Augustine. That one didn't work out. I have a observation and a question. First of all, I didn't come down last year, but in previous years, I've been a fan. And I've noticed you've lost some feistiness. And I wondered if management got to you.
What are you talking about, feistiness? What I've lost?
When I listened years ago, up to 2 years ago, you and Steve were very aggressive with callers. And it was fascinating.
Well, if we have a caller that, I'm just not going to beat up on I could beat up on you without reason. I mean, if we get a call from a liberal who's taking issue with this, we're going to go rough on him, but we don't just randomly beat up callers.
Okay.
I mean, do you want me to beat you up? You talk about feistiness. I mean, look at the topics we're talking about today. Give me a break. The liberals are hiding under rocks. What are liberals going to call up and say? You caught us?
Embarrassed. You embarrass them because you're very aggressive, and they don't want to be put in that position.
Well, their people have been doing terrible things and committing terrible crimes, and have been caught. So they're, we're not going to be hearing from leftists anytime soon. Do you want me to just start yelling and name calling and giving hard times to random callers?
Say that you used to, but you were much more feisty.
I don't know why. I don't really get the unless you're trying to get me to be feisty with you. I don't get the insult. I really don't get why you're being critical. I don't know what would you do if you were me right now at this moment in time on the air? Give me an example of this feistiness that's missing.
I think I would have said it's age.
No. Give me an example of what you think I would be doing now that would be feisty that I was doing last time you came to Florida. That I'm not doing now. Give me with what we're talking about now. Give me an example of how you think I'm handling it differently.
Well, I just.
By the way, this is an example of feistiness because I'm putting you on the defensive.
Okay.
So you're getting be careful what you ask for.
Why don't you get a brain and then call me back? I mean, you used to do things like that.
I never said that. I have never said that. Get a brain and call me back. That is. First off, that's a line that Bob Grant used, a variation of it that he stole from Joe Pine. So you have never heard. You may have heard. Steve may have said something similar to that, but you have never heard me say something like that ever.
Oh, Brian, you were never feisty?
I think I am now. I'm poking you a little bit. So with what's on the right now, no, you're the guy with all this experience. The topics that are on the table today, we're talking about the Hillary Durham, the Spygate. We're talking about the martial law in Canada. We're talking about the bank closing out Mike Lindell's account. Give me an example of how I would handle this in my old style. Get a brain and call me back, something I've never said. Use an example of something I've actually would have done in the past that I'm not doing today.
I can't think of anything in particular. But I'll bet your audience, if they've listened to you over the years, have noticed you have become less feisty.
I mean, you can say that over and over, but you must have an example. Give me an example.
Well, like right now, it's not a conversation. You're yelling at me.
Well, no, I'm not yelling at you. You're talking. You were interrupting me while I'm talking, and I raised my voice so that you would respond to what I'm saying. You have made an accusation, and what I'm asking you to do is back up your slander. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, wait a minute. Let me ask the question then. Let's get over this feistiness. Why is it, and I've talked to Jackson, the talk show guy, and we have a great guy in Albany called Vandenberg, does a great show. He's a conservative. Why doesn't liberal talk radio work?
Well, now you want to, so what you're doing now is you're surrendering. You called in. No, I'm not gonna answer that question. You called in. You made a charge against me that you can't back up, and now you want to change the subject. What you're doing now is like desperate. Why don't you just, I mean, you could admit the truth that you started talking before you thought too far, I don't know.
This is the Brian I used to listen to.
Oh, I see.
Right. You can't answer or you won't answer. Why?
I'm not going to let you change the subject. Oh, no, we've only just begun. You must be a big Trump supporter.
That's a great song, by the way.
You must be a big Trump supporter.
I was.
You was. See, now we got to the problem. What do you mean I was?
Here you go. The feisty Brian.
I know, exactly. Yeah, go ahead.
I love his ideas. I don't like his...
No, see, now we got to the real problem. See, your problem and you'll deny this, but that's okay. Your problem isn't that I've changed, okay? Your problem is you don't like Trump. I love Trump. Steve loves Trump. Our audience loves Trump. And you just don't like Trump. Now, you'll deny that, but you already said you already gave a past tense with your support of him. So you're a never Trumper. That's what your real beef is. Maybe I know you're a little old, and it's set in your ways and all. And it's difficult to teach. It's difficult to teach an old dog new tricks. But it's never too late to turn your life around and be honest. Now, if you'd have called in and said, I've been away for a couple years. I'm in town listening to you guys, and I don't like Trump, and you guys are promoting Trump, and all. Like I'm wearing a Trump shirt right now. At least you would have been an honest man, as opposed to coming in with these backdoor lies and slanders.
Oh, my Lord. This is the Brian I missed.
Yeah.
Anyway, you can't answer why liberal talk...
No, I can answer anything. I'm just not going to answer. Because you're a liar, okay? You got busted. Your problem with the show is you hate Trump, and you're trying to divert onto another topic. Why do you hate Trump?
I like his ideas. I don't like what he does at night on the Twitter and the tweets.
Well, then you must love him because he doesn't have Twitter anymore. He was banned from Twitter over a year ago. So what's the reason you don't like him now?
Why does he have to do? His ideas are terrific. But why does he have to be an a-hole at...
Oh, he's an a-hole. Okay. You like him, but you think... Give me an example of President Trump being, to use your sophisticated language, an a-hole. The last time you acted as an a-hole. Please tell me. By the way, Mr. President, if you're listening to Mar-a-Lago, we got your biggest fan on the phone. Give me the most recent example of him being, to use your words, an a-hole.
Well, at night
But I will agree with... I will say this before you answer. When you're talking about a-holes, at least you're talking about a subject that you have an expertise in, being one yourself. But go ahead.
Oh, my Lord, Brian, I love it. Now you're getting...
All right, but give the example. Give the example. Give the example. Notice he didn't deny it. Give the example of Trump being an a-hole. Go on.
At night, his name calling when he gets on the social...
He's not on social media. He's been banned from it, and he has been banned from it for over a year.
What is Instagram? What is...
He's not on Instagram, he's not on Twitter, and he's not on Facebook. Are you okay? Have you been in a coma for the last 14, 15 months? He was banned from social media after the Capitol breach. He's not on any social media right now. So why do you... No, that was over a year ago. Why is he an a-hole now?
Now you made a statement. Why was he banned?
No, that's another topic. You're trying. You said you don't like Trump. I asked you to give. You say he's an a-hole. I said give the most recent example that he's been an AH, and you went to something that he hasn't even had access to for about 14 months. So give an example of something more recent than 14 months that makes you say he's an AH.
Well, I think I think your audience understands what I'm saying. I can't think.
Oh, they believe me. The audience understands what you're about.
I'll bet half of your Trump lovers.
There you go. You hear it? You hear it?
If he only stayed off social media.
He is off social media. You know what I think? I think you've been like in a coma for a year and a half, and you just woke up. He has been off social media for over a year. He's been banned from it. Now you want to change the subject. No. You said he's an AH. No. Excuse me. I'm not going to change. You're not going to excuse. Listen, I got to run for a break, but we're not going to change the subject. You said he's an AH, and you can't think of an example of him being an AH. Maybe it has something to do. You know what? You know why you think that? It's because you're from New York. And we know what New Yorkers are.
Boy, now you're getting to be...
What are New Yorkers, typically?
What is the typical New York?
That's what I asked you.
Well, we're aggressive.
No, if you were thoughtful, excuse me, you're certainly not You certainly are not thoughtful because you didn't think things through before this call. No, being from New York, New Yorkers are Yeah, but you gave the wrong answer. New Yorkers are typically liberal. I know, you're more conservative than I am, I can tell. Yeah, you and Liz Cheney. All right, we'll take a break. We'll be back.
Covered AM 1470.
What a
FM
jerk off.
95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and I'm excited to announce...
Steve Kane Show. Hey, Barry. Steve Kane Show. Hold on. Jack, $5 super chat. Thank you. Everyone thank Jack for that. And another super chat came in while I was talking to that jerk, and I missed who it was from. Did anybody you remember who that was from? I'm scrolling back. It's not showing me. All right, 22 minutes after the hour, it's time to check in with Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Attorney Barry Siegel, good morning. I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm well. I want to start off this week making a theme for this week of the silent threat that we all have to deal with. As we age, we have the threat of either ourselves or our spouse potentially needing care, as we may have some disabilities or needs for help with activities of daily living. And the thing is, to get care, it certainly costs money. In fact, it costs a lot of money. So then the issue becomes, well, how are we going to pay for it? And as you may know, if you've heard me on your show before, the answer is you really have three ways. You can either pay out of pocket.
Jack N sent a super chat as well. Thank you, Jack N. Everyone thank Jack for that. But there was one before Jack that I think I missed.
Or you can get government benefits.
Does anyone know who that was?
And so in the first part of this week's theme, I want to talk about what actually happened.
No, Steve will be joining us now.
In my own family. I've talked about this before, and it's also on our website at SiegelLawGroup.com, about what happened to my grandmother, Betty, who many years ago, in the early 90s, was ill in a nursing home. She didn't have a lot of money, but she had some money. But the advice that she was given, and we all have to be very careful where we get our advice. She was given advice from the administration at the nursing home that she should spend down her assets until she was down to $2,000, and then they would help her get on Medicaid. In other words, go broke and then go on Medicaid. That's exactly what we should not have done. This was many years before I was even an attorney or knew better, or knew about Medicaid planning. But later on in life, learned that there was such a thing as Medicaid planning, where you could actually plan ahead, protect your assets, still qualify to get government benefits, and not go broke. Thus, she wouldn't have been alone, becoming broke, spending down her assets, not having that nest egg to fall back on, and then those assets could have been used to supplement her needs. But instead, she ran out of money, and that's something that we can avoid if we plan ahead. So, you can certainly call our office. Maria at our office, who handles the intake on these cases, can help you and answer a lot of your questions and schedule a time for you to come in.
Yeah, you do not want to run out of money before you run out of life. And the Siegel Law Group has an entire team over there that specialize in just what Attorney Barry Siegel is talking about, Medicaid planning. No charge consultations. If you mention you heard him on the Steve Kane Show, here's the number, 855-FLA-3782, 855-FLA-3782. and online SiegelLawGroup.com. Attorney Barry Siegel. We'll talk later in the week. All right, take care, take care. All right, Steve, I'm sorry I went long with that caller from New York, so we got Steve here a little late.
That was beautiful. I just enjoyed listening.
Oh, yes.
Hey, him.
Oh, my goodness. It wasn't that hard, Steve. He was a weakling.
You did.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Oh my goodness! I you know what I like about that call is his arrogance. I've been an owner of 18 radio stations. I don't own any now, and did it. In fact, it was funny. The people on YouTube, as soon as the guy started with his past resume, I told everybody on YouTube. I said, "Watch, here it comes." I knew he was coming with something. Well, listen, there's a lot going on. I've got some callers. You want to take calls, or?
I want to do an update on the Trump story.
Well, let me take a call or two, and then it'll be time for the bottom of the hour break, and then we'll come back. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, it's Juan.
Oh, hey, Juan.
Good morning, guys. If I can make a prediction, Clinton should be concerned. But, nothing's going to happen to her.
You were so wrong. Juan, you're so wrong. Go ahead, finish up, and then I'll tell you why you're wrong about that.
Okay, thank you. Because she's going to get a pardon from this president. All right, that's why. I mean, she'll get indicted.
Oh, there's a big problem. No, there's a big problem with that. Now, listen. Remember, what Durham came out with on Friday is brand new information that no one even speculated on before. The never-Trumpers and the media and the Democrats are trying to act like this happened back in March or something. What was new is that there were two things that were new. Spygate, that it started it started during the Obama administration and continued with a very complex hacking of the Oval Office West Wing computers while Trump was in office. Biden's got a big problem with pardoning people for this because he's a co-conspirator. He was part of the Obama administration, and there's no way that he wasn't involved in this.
But he'll be forced to resign, which is...
Now you're in Tom Clancy territory. Listen, people have been saying lock her up for a long time. Yesterday, when I talked about this on the air yesterday, I said on the air many times, this is the first time I ever seriously thought that Mrs. Clinton would face consequences. There's an update today from Radcliffe. He said yesterday that this Durham, and these aren't claims. These are things that Durham brought to the grand jury and charged Sussman with. This is Radcliffe said this yesterday. Hillary Clinton was briefed on this operation multiple times, and that they paid the attorney millions of dollars to do it. Briefed. She was briefed.
He was saying that yesterday on Newsmax.
Yes. What do you think? I heard it.
The thing that earlier today, Rich, the truck driver, he stole my thunder. I was going to say, us truck drivers, we don't need to be exposed to all this other threats from these totalitarians. We'll just take our toy, go home, sit it out, and let them figure it out.
All right. Hey, Juan, take care. Thanks for the call. No, Steve, this information from Durham is brand new, and you got to really watch Newsmax TV to find out what's going on, because even Fox, they're talking about crime in the cities again. It's like whenever there's a slow news day, Fox is telling you about crime in the major liberal cities. But this is the biggest political scandal this country has ever seen that came out on Friday with Durham, and it's brand new information.
But it's very complex.
No, it is not. It's not complex. It's very simple. Well, because you were watching the Super Bowl over the weekend, which I didn't watch 1 second of, and the news really did not cover any of this on Sunday or even yesterday, because they want to cover up. Only Newsmax was really reporting this properly. What happened was this, okay? This is what came out with the Hillary attorney. Sussman's the Hillary attorney who was charged. He was hired by Hillary Clinton and the Clinton campaign. Sussman. Yeah. Sussman is the Clinton lawyer that was charged. But you're right about him, too. Sullivan is involved in this with Obama, and he's working for Biden now. Yeah. Exactly. But that's not who got charged. Sussman is the Clinton attorney that got charged. What Sussman did, okay, Sussman is the G. Gordon Liddy of this. What Sussman did, he was paid millions of dollars by Hillary Clinton to do this. And he kept a paper trail of the billing and the payments in case he got caught so he could show that he was working for the Clintons, right? He hired a tech executive who was an executive of a technology company that had a government contract to work on the computers in the Oval Office and the executive offices in the West Wing of the White House. And what they did with that was steal information, plant information, hack into the President Trump's computer while he was president in the Oval Office throughout the West Wing. Then they gave that information to a university to analyze it. Then after they crafted false stories, they got together with, people think it's the FBI, they went to federal law enforcement agencies and filed false reports from the information they stole from the White House computers. We're in treason espionage territory now. And this Sussman is facing treason charges the rest of his life in a supermax solitary confinement. And Kash Patel said on Greg Kelly last night that they have interviewed over 2, maybe 3 dozen officials and officers with the CIA and FBI and the grand jury that Durham has overseeing the investigation. This is big. They got away with doing it at Trump Tower, but they went and continued after Trump was president. That's where you get into the treason aspect. There's a whole new level of crime here that no one suspected. We assumed it stopped when he went into the White House, but it didn't. And this is at a level we've never seen before, and it's very simple, and they're in big trouble. Big trouble. But listen, let's take our break for the bottom of the hour. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll take our last break. Well, no, this isn't our last break. It's our last break before the next break. But this is our bottom of the hour break. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Steve's with us. Don't go anywhere. We will be back after this.
Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. This is
Steve Kane Show.
Hey, Chaplain Jethro and Michigan.
Hey, man, hold on.
Well, first of all, I want to thank Mike Lindell for the great product called My Slippers. That cured my neuropathy in a big way. In 10 minutes, after I put them on, it went away. This morning, I woke up with leg cramps, put them on, the cramps gone.
That's amazing.
Oh, yeah, it's a great product.
Which one do you have? I have the tan fur-lined moccasin My Slippers. Which ones do you have, Chaplain?
I have the blue ones, and they're fur-lined also.
I've heard from several listeners that the Mike Lindell My Slippers make their neuropathy go away, and there's very little treatment for neuropathy, and people that suffer from it, it's torture, so I appreciate that. All right, Jethro, I appreciate the call, and thanks for the kind words about Mike Lindell's My Slippers and how they help with your neuropathy.
Yes, indeed, they do.
And right now, when you use the promo code KANE at checkout, KANE, save 50% off the My Pillow My Slippers. Go to mypillow.com, click on the radio listener specials, and use our promo code KANE, KANE, for 50% off the My Pillow My Slippers. That's 50% off, but you've got to use the promo code KANE, KANE.
Hi, Tom Laporta here from Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Building Restoration. We survived the 2021 hurricane season, and it's time to get your building envelope ready for the next season. Laporta Contracting installs all types of roofs, from asphalt, clay, and concrete, standing metal seam, flat roofs, and slate tile systems. Our building restoration offers complete envelope protection to include siding, stucco, concrete restoration, impact windows and doors, weatherproof
Yep.
of your assets at the time of your passing. Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search.
All right, we're back. See, Steve, yesterday was basically a national holiday. Everybody does like you. They're on vacation the day after the Super Bowl. So the story, this Durham report story is those of you that watch the Super Bowl, you're a day or two behind. But you want to take some more calls? All right, sounds good. 1-888-GO-CANE-1. Mel in Boca. Hey, Mel.
Good morning, gentlemen. I'm glad to hear your voice, Steve.
What's up, Mel?
All right. Well, I'm going to test your memory a little bit, Steve and Brian. Hillary destroyed.
Just what I needed.
Yep. Brian, me too. I'm about your age, I think, maybe a little older. Hillary destroyed the servers. She destroyed phones. The FBI wanted her to turn over a server. She has a long history from being going back to First Lady of Arkansas, where she was involved in shenanigans and Travelgate. The woman is evil.
Yeah, but that stuff you'll concede that stuff's not new.
No. In fact, no, I don't know. It is. Hold on. Slow down, Mel. No. Don't forget where you're going. No, he already said something new. Don't forget where you're going, Mel. Okay. When you talk about the servers, and there are others who are speculating on this. Some people believe she destroyed the servers to cover up the Trump spy operation they were doing early on.
Hillary also said something very important, and I think this whole thing with Durham is going to go full circle and right back to the recent election. What did you...
Yes. Yeah, because she never did. Well, this is what has them in trouble. Okay? This is what is brand new. No, I got to say it slowly because it's a tongue twister and you can say a bad word. The bleach bit and all of that is old news. What is new and important is this huge conspiracy of spying on the White House Oval Office, Executive Office computers while Trump was in office. That's when you moved into espionage and treason. And everyone's talking about that, the treason. We're in a whole new era now. Okay? And there's a huge web of it. Kash Patel.
Fox is, and we are, and there are...
Well, Fox is #1 in cable news, Steve. Fox has more people on the lowest rated show than the highest rated CNN and MSNBC combined. So that's the majority of the people.
We had a conversation,
yes.
Yeah, here it comes, about 2.5 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Being a first lady, former first lady, she should not be prosecuted.
I was wrong.
Because I said you can't let her get away with this.
I was wrong.
For a liberal,
do you remember
1
that?
second, I don't mean to interrupt.
No, it's
Hold on 1 second.
But
I just want to point out to the liberal listeners, did you see how easy that was? I'm using you as a positive example, all right? You see how easy that was? He said something, he realized it might not have been correct, and he said, I was wrong.
That's right, I was wrong. Yeah, I was wrong.
Good for saying that.
It's called being a man. Yes.
It's Steve, by the way.
No, you manned up. You manned up. Good for you.
But I'll tell you, listen, this is, see, I never dreamed that they would have continued this on the Oval Office, Executive Office computers. I didn't even think something like that was possible to do.
Yeah. She deserves to be in pinstripes. Like I do.
Indeed.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be just her, and I'll tell you, I bet you. See, we don't, this is, I expect to see some upper-level people like Panetta, who was her campaign manager. Remember that? Her campaign person? The one that came out and conceded for her when she had a nervous breakdown. who, this attorney Sussman, see, what he did was very smart. He made sure there were very clear billing records and payments received from the Clintons, from the Clinton campaign. So, well, he's got something to deal with. He may, but from what we're hearing from Kash Patel, Durham may not need to make deals. You know what I mean? He may have enough information gathered through his grand jury that he doesn't need to make deals. He may have all the goods. But Sussman did the billing and took the payments so that he could prove, if he ever got caught, that he was doing this for Hillary Clinton.
Yeah. Someone is going to turn the tables, and the whole thing is going to fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
Someone's going to say to Durham, "I will, in order to not to go to jail, tell you what happened," and that's where this.
Okay, well, there's gonna go through a couple of cycles with Hillary. Right now, Hillary's in denial because she's led a life of crime and she goes around town like John Gotti used to do, right? But the next phase is she's going to start doing some public appearances and looking happy and everything's wonderful. She might go on the Today Show with Chelsea and talk about the grandkids, to try to act like she's not worried. And then as this continues, we're going to hear about she's going to have to go in seclusion due to health issues, and then she'll disappear from public life. Then you'll know. That's when you'll know they're getting close.
That was really big.
Yeah, hey, listen, it's I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again.
Me too.
All right, take care. Take care. Yeah, I mean let me just play the beginning of this. I played it earlier in the show, but this Kash Patel, who worked for Trump's Secretary of Defense, advisor to Trump, he was on Greg Kelly last night on Newsmax, and he has got a lot of insight here. Listen, he's talking about the Durham report.
John Durham has interviewed 24 people in the grand jury, to include CIA case officers, FBI agents and directors, leadership in the Clinton campaign cycle, and they've indicted her lawyer. So this is just starting. It's how you build a criminal conspiracy case, and they're not going to be able to ignore indictments once they start coming in full swing. Now, we have to be right. It has to start somewhere. You cannot go on and infiltrate the White House servers and the White House internet by just doing it from the top. You have to have a team. And Michael Sussman and Mark Elias were the lead attorneys for the Hillary Clinton campaign, who were paid millions and millions of dollars to perpetuate the Steele dossier fraud. And now we know they were paid millions and millions of dollars to go out and buy false information from a tech executive. And then here's the worst part. They secured a, quote, sensitive arrangement with someone in government to gain access to the White House servers. That means someone in government gave them permission and paid the contracting tech executive company's firm to allow that work to happen. That could only have been done with the utilization of the intelligence community willingly. And that, to me, is the biggest criminal scandal that we have yet to talk about. He's going to deliver. Of course, everybody gets frustrated. As a former federal prosecutor who brought international terrorism cases that were pretty complex, this guy's unraveling the biggest criminal conspiracy against the sitting president in the United States history. It's going to happen. Just give the guy a few more months. It's coming.
Yeah, and he's on the know, and he gave a lot of new information. Durham has brought 2 to 3 dozen FBI and CIA intelligence officials in front of his grand jury that indicted Sussman. And this is going to get international, because what they did, this tech company that was stealing and planting information in the Oval Office West Wing computers, they gave the computer data to a university that has not yet been named to analyze it. And and as I was talking to a caller earlier about this, our universities are infiltrated by the Chinese, the Iranians, and other enemies of this country. And they're going to find that there was international espionage involved in this too.
By the way, when you realize that all of the things we're talking about are future-oriented, the legal stuff that yet to unfold, when you realize that's going to be going on during a presidential campaign,
yep,
this is not going to hurt Donald Trump's chances of winning the next.
No, this is, yeah. I mean, what?
Democrats weren't in enough trouble. They needed this.
And I know they know they're in trouble, because I saw the first. Kash Patel said what they were going to do. Oh no, but now with the media reaction has been that Kash Patel said last night on Newsmax. I think it was in that clip we just played. He said what they're going to do is in a few days they're going to be forced to report it. They haven't been reporting it yet, the mainstream media, and then they're going to attack the people who are reporting it. And already this morning, Jesse Waters is being attacked by the left for reporting wildly crazy claims against Hillary Clinton's spy operation. It's Durham who brought a criminal charge out of a grand jury for Hillary Clinton's attorney, Sussman. This isn't Jesse Waters. Jesse Waters is just doing what we're doing, talking about what John Durham's indictment against the Hillary Clinton lawyer says. So they're involved in a cover-up. The media are the Richard Nixon here. They're involved in a cover-up of the crime, and the liberals love to tell you the cover-up's always worse than the crime. That's where they get you, and they're involved in a cover-up. So listen, we're going to take our last break. We'll be back with the gold report, which should be an interesting gold report today. We'll be right back.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years at the same location.
If you're new, make sure you subscribe, everyone, and please, everyone, hit that like button. So subscribe, like, and if you are feeling generous, click the notification bell. That helps a lot. I upload a lot of content here, guys.
My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
Do you think you've come in contact with someone who has coronavirus? Steve Kane's wife Lori did, and she went to any lab test now at Coral Springs to find out if she has coronavirus.
So I came into contact
Hey
with
there.
somebody that tested positive for COVID, and I was scared, and I needed results right away, so I went to any lab test now in Coral Springs. It was great. I didn't want to have to stay in line for 2 hours and have a swab stuck down my nose into my brain. It was very pleasant. I made an appointment. They got me in within the hour. I was out of there within 20 minutes. Thank goodness the test was negative, and I can go back to work tomorrow. They also tested me for the antibodies, and I haven't been exposed. So do what I did. Go over to any lab test now at Coral Springs. They give great rates for Steve Kane listeners, and tell them we sent you.
It's worth 15 minutes of your time to have peace of mind and know that you and your family are safe. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is located at 955 North University Drive on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood near the Coral Square Mall. You can call them at 954-906-5983. 954-906-5983. Any lab test now of Boca is in the Sandalfoot Plaza where the Western Beef is, south of Palmetto Park Road and north of Hillsborough. Call them at 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the radio.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
All right, and it is time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated right here in Boca with the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report. Good morning, William Youngerman. How are the metals looking today?
Looking like a little bit of a pullback for a buying opportunity on concerns over or on news that possibly Russia was pulling back some of their troops. We'll see how that all plays out, but that's not the reason to be buying or selling your precious metals. Usually wars or troop movements and things of that nature don't give us a big long-term spike in the metals. The reason is inflation, and inflation is roaring ahead. So continue to buy these dips. It's a great buying opportunity today. Yesterday we saw gold go all the way up to $1,875 and close at $1,871. That was up $12.10. Silver was up to $24.02 the ounce, closing at $23.81, up 24 cents. Platinum closed up $3 at $1,026, and palladium closed up $51 at $2,306 the ounce. This morning, as I said, we have a pullback. Gold is recovering now, but at $1,852.50, that's down $18.70. Silver's down 61 cents at $23.20 the ounce. Platinum down $11 at $1,015, and palladium down $94 at $2,212. So we got a great opportunity on Contrary Tuesday to take advantage of this dip, and we'll be expecting this to turn around pretty quick. Today's the day to do it.
Man, when 1852 and change is a dip, that's That's awesome. Now, can you, William Younger, can you tell people a little bit though about fractional gold? Maybe they don't have enough cash to buy a full ounce. Can you tell them what other options there are in the fractional gold sphere?
Yeah, most of the countries offer their gold in 4 different sizes: 1/10 ounce, quarter ounce, half ounce, and 1 ounce size gold coins. And we stock them all. And the smaller the denomination or size you go, the higher the premium is. So we really encourage people to usually maybe save up and try to get at least a half ounce at a time. But if you're buying things for gifts or just to have some small denomination gold coins, it's available in all 4 sizes.
Yeah, and those coins are beautiful too because they're gold. Now, William Youngerman opens up weekdays at 10 a.m. The number, 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010. Online at williamyoungerman.com, and you can stop right in at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. All right, William Youngerman, we will talk tomorrow. All right, great. Okay, time is short, so I wanted just to give you an idea of how bad this is. The White House press briefing yesterday, Jen Psaki took the day off because she didn't want to answer the Durham questions, and she had her number 2 come in. I forgot her name, something Pierre. She's the black girl that is the deputy press secretary. So, and I'm going to play the clip of this. I played it earlier in the show, but when I saw the video of this, the deputy White House press secretary, her body language, she looked physically ill at the questions. And she was asked about the Durham charges, and she was dodging all the questions.
Now, on the second topic, this news about the Durham investigation. Does the president have any concerns about a candidate for president using computer experts to infiltrate computer systems of competing candidates, or even the president-elect to use for the goal of creating a narrative? Is that something that's something I can't speak to?
Okay, so what the reporter just asked, you'll hear the press secretary clearer. The reporter just asked, does the president believe that it's wrong to spy on political candidates and use that to search for dirt to slander them in elections? That's pretty simple. That's like saying, is the president against murder, rape, and the mistreatment of animals? And so listen to her answer.
For the goal of creating a narrative, is that something that's something I can't speak to from this podium, so I refer you to the Department of Justice.
She can't tell you whether or not crimes are bad. You got to go to the Justice Department.
When they sent her in there, that's the one line they had her memorable.
Yeah.
To answer all the controversial questions, one bad line.
And I don't think it's a coincidence that Psaki was off.
Of competing candidates, or even the president-elect to use for the goal of creating a narrative. Is that something that's something I can't speak to from this podium, so I refer you to the Department of Justice. Is what was described in that report monitoring internet traffic? Is that spying? Again, I can't speak to that report. I refer you to the Department of Justice.
Look at that.
Generally speaking.
They don't even try to cover it up.
I refer you to the Department of Justice. I can't speak to that from here.
Oh my goodness. 3 at least. Oh my goodness. I can't speak to...
All the other acolytes of the press that are trying to cover for the Democrats, they're going to use little phrase over and over and over again. That's like holding up their hands and saying, I give up you.
Yeah, that's right. Is crime crime? I cannot speak on that. I must refer you to the Justice Department. I mean, that's bad. I mean, that's how bad it is for them, Steve. They've been busted, and it's coming.
Good, depending.
Good for us. Yeah. I know this is great stuff. Oh my goodness, do we ever? Now, I want to end on this because this is pretty big. Mike Lindell, they declared martial law in Texas on the truckers and everything else. And I got an interview with Mike Lindell from over the weekend. Mike Lindell is sending in secret at some point this week truckloads of MyPillows to deliver to the Freedom Truckers of Canada. He's sending thousands of MyPillows to Canada. He's doing this covertly It's not going to be on a truck that says My Pillow on the side with Mike Lindell hugging the pillow like you see. It'll be an unlabeled truck because, you can bring your sex slaves and your drugs into America from the southern border. That's all fine. But if you want to give people the best night's sleep they've ever had with My Pillows, and you're trying to jump the northern border into Canada, all points bulletin they put out on you. So here's Mike Lindell over the weekend talking about sending pillows to the Canadian truckers.
Pillow, we're busy. All our employees are busy making pillows right now for the truckers in Canada. We're going to try and get them through. I'm not going to say what day, or there'll be obstructionists. I know you guys are going to be there. Trust me, you will be there. I'll let you know. It's going to be great. I have a plant up in Canada. I have a factory up in Canada, but we can't make enough there
Steve Kane
because
Show.
of what happened before. When I was canceled in the United States, Canada companies canceled me too. Costco, the Canadian Shopping Channel. So our production went way down a year ago. So this is all. I got a little problem with Trudeau. Let me tell you, more than this started with me way back. So, but we're going to get these. What brave truckers, and it's going on around the world now. It's amazing. We're winning. Saskatchewan and I believe Alberta pulled back their mandates already. There's little victories now already, so they're pulling them back. We're winning. I encourage all the truckers, don't give up and say, okay, we'll compromise halfway. No, we want all our freedom.
Yeah, there you go. So that's it. He's sneaking the pillows across the border. Isn't that amazing? Well,
excited to be part of that,
Well, yeah, and right after we got off the air on Friday morning at 9, I got a call from Mike Lindell's office. They were telling us about that, and then he went public with it over the weekend. And if you go to mypillow.com, which has a brand new website, by the way, and you use our promo code KANE at checkout, Kane, right now Mike Lindell is offering the lowest price ever on the MyPillow. The MyPillow normally $69.98, just $19.98 with the promo code KANE. And also the Giza Dream Sheets, lowest price ever. Save 60% off the 100% Giza Cotton Dream Sheets with our promo code KANE at checkout, Kane, as low as $39.99. The MyPillow My Slippers, 50% off with our promo code KANE. And if you click on, scroll down, you click on the photograph of Mike Lindell with the American flag, you'll see some great specials there, including 50% off the 3-inch MyPillow mattress topper, which I sleep on every night. This is the thickest mattress topper that Mike Lindell and MyPillow make. And it also comes with a 10-year warranty, 50% off with the promo code KANE. So stand with Mike Lindell, stand with his great company, and stand with the truckers. And go to mypillow.com. Use our promo code KANE at checkout, Kane, for these fantastic deals. Every special you see there, you can use our promo code ON as well, and not just the ones I mentioned. You can also call toll-free 800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code KANE, Kane. All right, Steve, we have 10 seconds. You want to sign us off?
We thank you for joining 6 a.m. on behalf of Associate Producer Lori Kane and, of course, my partner Brian Craig. See you tomorrow, 6 a.m. God bless Donald Trump.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's
Steve Kane Show. Oh. Well, we ran out of time. I'm sorry. We ran out of time, so you're not on the air. I'm sorry, Stacy. But you can still bless us. Yes. Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Stacy. Take care. No doubt. No doubt. Okay, thanks a lot. Bye. There's a caller she wanted to bless us. She said, "God bless you and Steve," and she missed being on the air. So I said, "Well, you don't have to be on the air to bless us. You can bless us off the air too." So she did. All right, guys, listen, I got to take off. But thanks for watching. Before you go, if you're new, please subscribe, and everyone like the video before you go. And if you would click the notification bell, that'd be great, because I upload new content here all the time. Thanks, everyone, for watching. I'll talk to you later.